Hello and welcome to the Computer Game Show. My name's David Turner and I'm here with James Farley.
Hello.
Matt Murray.
Hello.
And Sean Bell.
Hello.
We'd like to start the show, as we always do, by thanking our Patreon producers. They are Aaron Patrick, Simon Nelson, Tom S., Jack Oven, Moomin Biscuit, and Richard Sawyer. They became Patreon producers by going full Nels at patreon.com/TCGS. And you can support us too on patreon.com. There are various different tiers. You've got bonus podcasts, you've got live shows, you've got full Nels. Come and join the team at patreon.com/TCGS. Hello everyone. We all right? We had a good week? We ready for another root in podcasting time?
I mean, not now that you've called it that, no.
Why?
No,
that's right up your street.
That's when have I ever rooted or tooted, Dave?
Well, you've complained about shooty bangs, and that is as cringy as rooting tooting. All right, in my book, that's the same. The same. It's hard to tell with you. You say hollybobs, but don't like doggo. So it's sort of a flip of a coin. I went for rooting tooting, I failed. All right.
Yeah. I'm a hypocrite.
Have you ever said chicken nuggies, Sean?
I ain't following any of this. Not sincerely, no.
Did you just say I'm not following any of this?
No, I don't know what you're talking about. I've no idea what you're talking about.
These are all in references from references shows from years ago, mate. You were on them. Yeah.
Don't remember that.
Okay. Well, let's see what our listeners remembered from the last show, shall we, Matt? Smooth.
Let's
get some feedback.
Lewis, all right, lads, is there any way you might be able to go over the relative merits of Game Pass versus PS Plus / PS Now and speculate what should happen to these in the upcoming generation in exhaustive detail week after week? I just feel like you haven't really touched on this yet. Cheers.
It's funny he says that, because I thought we got like 90-minute segment planned. To just go into it.
Yeah. Welcome to Game Pass versus PS5 special, everybody. All right, that was a bit narky, wasn't it? Listen, it was bad last week. I get that. I don't think it was bad. I think if you didn't like that specific subject, it was bad. I'm sure, fine. But we had to talk about it last week. It was after the big Microsoft thing.
Are we not going to talk about the big sort of events in gaming? Of course we are.
Apparently we're not, Matt, week after week.
Oh, just because Lewis. Oh.
Yeah, because Lewis doesn't want it. All right, fuck it. Thanks for living it. We'll see you next week. It's Lewis's show. Welcome to Lewis's podcast. See you next week, guys. I mean, we did say last week that we're always listening to feedback. So, I mean, maybe we should chill out a little bit. But
I thought you always say never listen to feedback.
Well, certain feedback is not worth listening to. And Lewis is on the board.
Yeah, he's on that list.
But can you do that thing where it flags up an email from a specific person in red? Do that. It's not emails anymore, is it?
Yeah, we can't add it to the spam filter. It's
no, we fucked it. Matt, revert.
I'm sure something can be sorted out.
Please keep emailing in, Lewis. We're only having a bit of jokes.
Don't email message. Don't email Lewis, Matt. Just message it.
Yeah, do the TC whatever.
Right. Obviously, we spoke about the Xbox last week, and this is the only bit of like corrective feedback that I think we got. And there might have basically we talked about the Medium game that was announced, and I think myself and maybe a couple of you were confused about what it was with its multi-platform. And SMW says the Medium is an Xbox console exclusive and was first shown off at the Inside Xbox event in May.
Because we were saying that we thought we saw it at a PlayStation event, right?
I thought it was like a multi-platform thing, but
what was that one that they had at the PlayStation one then? Because it looked very similar.
That's Horizon Zero Dawn.
That's for Bug Snacks. Yeah, everyone's talking about Bug Snacks.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you say that, Stu Baker. It's been nearly 2 weeks since the Bug Snacks full theme tune came out, and Dave hasn't mentioned it. Is he no longer talking about Bug Snacks?
I was really disappointed with it. I was hoping that it was going to just hint at some new information, and it didn't really. It just talked about sandwiches climbing walls, and I'm like, okay.
I mean, well, we've hit a peak now of Bug Snacks. This is it now. Like we've had the sort of mild, maybe like Twitter bubble hysteria about what it is. Now every bit of information we're going to get from here on out is just going to ultimately lead to disappointment. So they've
gone very quiet on it, because remember, like just after the reveal, They were tweeting things like, "You don't know the real stuff" or whatever. There is stuff about there being a strong narrative in this game though. So
But do you reckon
still think
they've
there's that behind it.
I think they've seen all the speculation and go, "Oh shit, everyone's figured it out already." Bollocks.
No.
Yeah,
Either that, or
It's
they're
the
just
opposite.
furiously retooling the whole thing.
Exactly, yeah. Like, shit, we just made a simple game. Now we need to put horror in it.
Yeah. I thought it's a
Have you
good
got any
idea. We
horror?
should do it.
They look over
The,
and there's one guy sitting in the corner with like black hair swept over to one side and a black leather jacket and a white t-shirt, and he just looks up. Do you know any could put some horror in this game? And he sort of just shuffles over, starts typing in code, and all of a sudden
there's just a
everyone's
goth
evil.
in the corner. Like
That was what I was going for.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
what
But the way you paid it is like Neo from the Matrix, but I think you mean goth.
Yeah, but that was the same thing. I still can't get over that. After that film come out, because obviously it was at school when The Matrix come out.
Really?
James, you would have been.
I was not at school.
No, I thought you were.
He was teaching in school.
Yeah. And all of a sudden, there was just a bunch of kids turning up with dark glasses and a long one of those trench coat things down to their ankles. Just thinking, I just thought, oh mate, come on. We all know that you're trying to be the Matrix guy. That was his name, wasn't it?
Yeah,
I was hoping you were going to say we all knew you were
Steve
trying to
Matrix.
be the Matrix. Yeah.
Yeah. This is reality, you idiot.
I mean, there's so many of them. It's like, okay, well, there's the one. I mean, you couldn't move. For
Yeah,
them
I went the wrong route. I turned up in a suit and put an earpiece in. That was what I did. I like the other guys. Yeah.
I dressed up as a phone box. That was. Yeah.
But do you remember
Afterwards,
those?
Bill and Ted.
You get the people with those T-shirts to say like, "I've taken the red pill," which of course now has been completely ruined by internet dickheads. But I mean, that T-shirt was never good. But yeah, Christ, the Matrix. The Bugsnax theme tune, right? They supposedly did it's a live performance of it. Have you seen it?
Yeah,
I
it
saw,
was.
like,
It's just them
I saw
playing it
the
in the
video.
bedrooms. And that.
Yeah, it's just blatantly just the studio version, but with them pretending to do it over webcam.
Yeah.
Which I thought was
Yeah.
weird.
Can I see this on YouTube, Sean? Because
Do you know what that means, Sean?
Go on.
Yeah, it's all on YouTube, James.
They're proven liars.
Yeah.
So have a
Deceit
think about
is
that.
woven into it already.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I'm telling you, those Bugsnax are going to be eating faces. Okay, cool.
Okay, we end with 6 Squid Games. I just have a bit of feedback related to streaming. While watching Sean's engaging stream of the joyous Hohokum, I noticed a purchase sign attached to the not quite as lively game Blasphemous. Since Sean mentioned that Evan received codes on episode 170, and considering Dr. Farley knows/is related to someone at Canterbury Cathedral, setting up a streaming...
Wait, who's this? Who emailed it?
6 Squid Games.
They're working for Track and Trace, are they? Fucking hell. This is scary. Go on.
And considering Dr. Farley knows/is related to someone at Canterbury Cathedral, setting up a streaming session from there not only seems feasible, but also tonally appropriate. I look forward to the candlelit monastic-themed stream.
Okay. Matt struggled with that word. Would you do a stream of that, Sean?
Was it? I wasn't sure if it was me or James you wanted to do it. No was the answer.
No, I think it was James.
Because that game
Well, I
unnerved
know
me
it.
enough as it was. Never mind having to do it from a cathedral. And who knows what the broadband's going to be like there? Do you know what I mean?
Not
Your
good.
reaction weird to that game, Sean. It wasn't
Was it?
that bad. Yeah, wasn't that
No,
bad.
I never said it was bad. It just fucking creeped me out.
Okay, yeah, fair enough.
But yeah, no, thank you.
Okay, that is it for
James, how
feedback.
about from your garage?
No, don't want to do that.
Okay. Oh, fucking hell. Jesus,
Wow.
no fucking around from James Farley today, is there?
He's pure business tonight. Anyway,
He
if you
is.
want to leave us
Straight
feedback,
to the point.
it's tcgs.co/deartcgs. That's how you leave
There we
feedback.
go. Yeah, just enter that into your web browser and fill out the form, and we'll receive
When
it.
you surf the
over
web.
the
Put that
internet.
into Edge.
Man, they really did do that, didn't they? They really went for that surfing thing when the internet first came out. It was when broadband first came out, and we were with Blue Yonder, I think,
Yeah.
and they called their modems surfboards. I'm not kidding.
Wow.
Have you got your surfboard?
Cowabunga.
It's like, fuck off.
Surf the internet superhighway.
Right, okay. James, in it? Were you
Yeah,
news, is it?
It's the news, yeah. There's been news this week. So the internet is up in arms because the PS4 DualShock isn't going to work with PS5 games.
Yeah, I mean,
Pre-order cancelled.
what is it? Have they? Where has this come from?
From Sony.
Well, from Sony, yeah.
Have they explained why though?
Well, they've said that it will work with supported PS4 titles, so presumably that means whatever PS4 titles that are backwards compatible that we still don't know anything about. And but yeah, they said that it wouldn't work with PS5 games. And yeah,
but they haven't given a reason.
Oh no, they have.
Go on.
Well, no, go on, James.
They said that PS5 games should take advantage of the new capabilities and features we're bringing to the platform, including the features of DualSense wireless controller. Yeah, so I mean, they're basically saying that it's like, well, PS5 games will take advantage of all the new features of the DualSense, so that's why it won't work with the DualSense.
I mean, they fucking won't,
feedback.
Yeah, it'd be into that. We don't know, do we? Because we don't know what games are coming.
Yeah, lots of magical haptic feedback related things, no doubt.
I mean, it's like,
come on, you just make it rumble differently. I mean,
no, it's very different. The PS5 games cannot possibly work with a PS4 pad. No way in hell. It's just you can't do it. It's a different.
It's like with PS3, like if you got like a PS3 pad and like connected it to a PS4, what happens if you've got a game that uses the touch?
Oh,
the
fuck
touchpad?
off, James! It ain't the same
no way
thing.
That's the same. Yeah.
How is it not the same?
Okay, nobody. One's an input. One's an input. The other one is a rumbling in a different way.
You don't know that.
Yeah, it's a rumbling.
You have no idea at all.
Well, I sat down and I watched Jeff Keighley said that it felt like sand. So he didn't go, fucking hell, I can't control this at the moment. Like he wasn't like, look at the fucking controller, got over this. Only with this controller, he wasn't. He was going, this is a bit different. The feel of the rumble.
Yeah, if the PS5 one had fucking lasers coming out of it, then fine. But I don't think this is not a significant enough difference to block people off. It doesn't.
James is well on Team Sony now, isn't he?
It's
exactly the same as
how often has this ever happened before? Like where controllers have worked across generations.
Well, it's happening now with Microsoft. I think
exactly. That's the only reason. It's because it's happening with that because they haven't innovated with their pad at all. So that's why that's happened.
Oh, that's the reason.
There's a share button,
because they've already made the best controller, James. I think you'll find. So there's no need.
Are you defending Sony with this or what?
I mean, I genuinely don't care about this. It doesn't. I don't see why it matters.
James,
you buy a new console. You get a controller with it. What's the problem here? I don't understand.
If I want to play FIFA, I've got to spend another 70 quid on a controller.
2-player games.
But when have you ever not had to do that before? Like, when has that ever happened before, apart from now?
James, here's the thing, right? One company is doing something extremely consumer friendly, and you're having a go at them. One company is not, and you're defending them.
I'm not having a go at them. I'm saying it's great. If Microsoft want to do that, that's really good. If Sony want to do this...
You said it's because they haven't innovated their controller in years.
That's because I'm trying to wind you up, Dave, because it's...
No, it isn't, James.
It is.
This is what you do. You say, I'm trying to wind you up, but you're not.
Well, it works.
You love Sony. You are part of their anti-consumer movement.
That's right, Dave.
It's all down to you.
It's definitely that, yeah.
James, I thought you'd be mad at this, but you're thinking, it doesn't matter.
I don't care. Like, what?
I thought you would care that it's a bit shitty.
Okay, maybe it's okay. Obviously, it's shitty for people that want to. Look, can you stop doing that? Look, we've been doing this.
You did it 4 times.
We've been doing this for like 14 minutes, right? And you're already trying to pick me up on like whatever I'm trying to say. It's ridiculous.
Okay. But James, right? How about this? You buy your new PS5. You get your brand new controller with it. Wicked. Yeah. You get that the Sackboy game, right?
It's not Sackboy. Stop.
What is it?
It's Sackboy World, isn't it?
It is Sackboy.
I thought you were talking about the built-in free game.
No. I'm talking about that Sackboy game, right? So you buy that with your new PS5. It's got co-op on it. Oh, pass it to Asher, but I'll just use the PS4 pad and we can play co-op. But now you can't.
Well, it's extra 70 quid now on launch day, James. Very expensive.
Not if you look at the prices we just saw in Carry 4, Matt.
Those are clearly placeholder.
You don't know that. You don't know if that's the case.
You said that yourself, James.
Yeah,
I know. But I'm just saying we still don't know though. For certain. But the thing is, we don't know for certain any of this stuff at all. Like we don't know.
Well, we know for certain that PS4 pads aren't going to work on PS5.
Yeah, and we don't know whether that really matters or not because it depends on whether like developers are actually going to take advantage of any of this stuff.
Okay, James. But I've given you an example.
Yeah.
I'm not
denying that this is shitty.
Want to play...
I don't know why.
Yes, you were.
How is? Look, I'm not denying that this is not a great thing. Like, it would be better if DualShocks did work on it. But then also, you can understand that there may be a reason why that this is the case.
Yeah,
apart from the fact that they also want you to spend more money is the other reason, obviously.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right. I mean, look, if we're taking our back and forth out of it and now winding each other up, this is what we've experienced for generations. Like since fucking the NES and the Mega Drive. It's been the same every time. The only thing that makes it different now is that the rivals, their main rivals, or whether they see themselves as rivals anymore is up for debate. But Microsoft have gone against that, and Sony have just completely ignored it and ploughed on. Whether ultimately, I don't think it's a deal breaker, so I think they'll get away with it. But yeah,
see that's the thing, because it's like like the Wii U Pro controller doesn't work on the Switch. I wasn't livid about that. Like at the time that was the case.
But that's what I'm saying.
Things have changed. Yeah, Microsoft have changed
when both
this.
consoles are coming out at the same time.
Yeah.
And one company's saying, "Yeah, use your old accessories on this," and the others like, "Not for us." You know what I mean? I assume those expensive headsets they've been selling for the PS4 work.
They will still work.
Right?
Yeah, they still work.
Yeah.
So
that's quite a big thing.
See, the only things that are not working is obviously the DualShock. Other things such as racing wheels, arcade sticks, and all that kind of stuff that will work, and also the Move controllers will work with it as well.
Did I read that the camera will work on it, but you need a special adapter?
Yeah, they said that there'll be a special adapter provided at no additional cost, which is very generous of them.
Oh, right, okay, fair enough.
That's
fair enough.
Because it uses a weird proprietary connector, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's not.
That's fucking annoying. That.
Yeah. It's a bit like Kinect, isn't it? Like how they started bundling those in the box. They had adapter for that, didn't they, for a while when you bought an S whatever. So
when you bought one of the later consoles or whatever, you had to buy it took up like 3 of your fucking USB ports or some shit. I don't know.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Cool.
Also, there's going to be a state of play this coming Thursday. This is Thursday at 9 p.m. UK time. What's quite interesting about this is they tweeted like exactly what is going to be on it. I think because everyone's getting wise now to this kind of like if you don't say, people go in with expectations. So they've said that this is a focus on upcoming PS4 and PSVR games. Presumably that just means third-party stuff, because are Sony making anything new for like PS4? Probably not. And
we'll find out.
Then they said there's going to be a few check-ins on third-party and indie games from June's PS5 showcase, but apart from that, no big PS5 announcements. They made very clear no big PS5 announcements. It's yeah. So there you go.
Right, that'll be something I'll catch up on later.
Oh, really? I'm definitely gonna watch it live.
What?
I'll watch it live. I mean, we were debating a bit in WhatsApp, weren't we, whether we'd do a talks over for it. I don't think it's going to be exciting enough to warrant that.
Absolutely.
Well, just because there's no PS5 stuff.
Well, no, because they talk about showing us games that we've already seen, and then a few PS4 titles.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm still going to watch it live. I'm interested to see what they do.
Oh, no, I'll watch it live. As I say, I don't know if it's worth getting us all together. And do you know what I mean? Like, if we're going to pick an evening to all do like a stream together or whatever, I just think there's probably something a bit more fun could do.
I don't think it's going to be very interesting. I mean, it's really not. It's probably just going to be a load of third-party stuff or whatever for PS4.
It's probably the stuff that they said they would promote around E3 before,
like the Nintendo one.
You know what I mean?
I mean, I'd be surprised if it's as bad as the Nintendo one the other week, but we'll see.
Yeah, that was pretty awful, wasn't it?
It really was.
I remember Nintendo. They were great, weren't they?
It was good when they were around. Yeah.
They had a good run for a couple of years with the Switch.
Yeah. People are asking what are you looking forward to the most when pandemic ends? Hearing from Nintendo again. I think it's probably up there, right? Yeah, go on.
Okay, so next story is that Microsoft have dropped Xbox from the Game Pass branding, which obviously makes complete sense. Like it's now just called Game Pass, and that's it. Because obviously
it's I don't know, because I've always found it weird being the guy who mainly engages with this stuff on PC. But it's still, even on PC, it's still all Xbox, right?
Yeah, they tried to expand the brand out, didn't they, beyond just the consoles? But I think they're winding their neck in a bit. Yeah. Because it used to be, didn't you buy Xbox Live Gold for the PC?
There was loads of that. There was games for Windows ages ago which died like really badly, and then there's been Xbox Game Pass for PC was what it was, but then now that they've now changed, so it just is Game Pass.
It's just Game Pass. No, interesting. Okay. Because like the app that you open on the PC is still the Xbox app.
Yeah, and there's like the Xbox bar on the PC. So that was basically their gaming platform. But
which I didn't really
make sense
mind,
to change, I guess.
But I understand that. Obviously, ultimately, I'm just like, but it's not an. It's
confusing the message a bit, isn't it? Maybe they're just getting wise to the fact that, and not only that, if you're trying to appeal to PC gamers, don't call your service the same as the console. You know what I mean? It's like there must be a bit of PC gamers going, fuck Xbox. Do you know what I mean?
There definitely is. There definitely is. It's that's pretty certain. I mean, also the other thing that happened was that they stopped. I mean, did we talk about this? How they've stopped selling 12-month subscriptions for Xbox Live Gold as well?
We did all this.
So I mean, it's like they said they're doing that, but the Twitter accounts still say Xbox Game Pass and Xbox Game Pass for PC, and it's basically now it's Xbox logo Game Pass. So
I think they just haven't renamed the accounts, Matt. That's all that is.
Yeah, but they've had
the artwork shows the Xbox logo.
Yeah,
and then it says Game Pass after.
Yeah, but
I thought the same thing when I saw it. I was like, okay, they're not calling it Xbox Game Pass anymore, but the logo is still there. Yeah, it's weird.
And just their Twitter names haven't changed. I mean, that takes a second. If they really are rebranding, why they're still that? I think it's a bit confusing.
I don't know. I mean, I don't understand branding at the best of time. We're what are we again? Sorry, I'm just not the right person to ask about this stuff. I don't get it. I don't get none of it.
Okay. Also, what's up, Matt?
No, I was just waiting for you to start.
Well, what do you mean?
It's got awkward, isn't it?
Well, no, I don't know why Matt had to prompt me to read the news. I mean,
it was just that was a friendly James. Over to you.
It
was a friendly little nod there.
I didn't feel it was very friendly.
James, you know that I usually back you up on these ones. You were bang out of order there, son.
I didn't feel it was very friendly.
After calm down.
After all the taking the piss out of my speech, I was on edge.
You
so that
need to calm down, Matt. Are you all right?
Yeah, I'll be all right.
Good. All right, James.
Okay. Fucking hell. I was just about to speak then, and then it just... okay. Anyway, Halo Infinite developer says it still has work to do on games visuals. So, I mean...
Say that again.
It said, so the studio said that it had heard far more positive than negative reactions. So they said apparently people were really happy about it. But then they did agree that work still had to be done.
Shit.
They said it. We've read your comments. We've seen the homemade examples of retouch content.
Oh, God, is this taking that blog post that they put up?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is it. Yeah.
Oh, it was awful. I read that and it was awful, that blog post.
You're about to hear it again.
Let's hear it.
And yes, we've heard the Digital Foundry assessments. In many ways, we are in agreement here. We do have work to do to address some of the areas and raise the level of fidelity and overall presentation for the final game. It says the build used to run the campaign demo was work in progress from several weeks ago with a variety...
Right, stop you there, just quickly. The rumours coming out afterwards that it was months old, this demo, because it was built for E3. That was the rumour that was going around. This was months old, this demo. And do you know what I mean? And then when they said, this was a few weeks old, I was like, oh, fucking hell, man, this is way worse than I thought it was. Go on.
So it says, the build we used to run the campaign demo was work in progress from several weeks ago with a variety of graphical elements and game systems still being finalised and polished. While some of the feedback
hopefully.
While some of the feedback was expected and speaks to areas already in progress, other aspects of the feedback have brought new opportunities and considerations to light that the team is taking very seriously and working to address. We don't have firm answers or outcomes to share yet, but the team is working as quickly as possible on plans to address some of the feedback around detail, clarity and overall fidelity. The team is committed and focused on making sure we have a beautiful world for players to explore when we launch.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, look... We don't know what the game's going to come out like. We don't. So writing off the game at this point is a ridiculous thing to do. We're all in especially understanding agreement of that.
Yeah, and it could look shit and still be very good.
Absolutely, 120%. It's funny, isn't it? It's the amount of... I remember there was a period where the gaming community was very much graphics is bottom of the list of what I want from games. It's all about gameplay, what I'm doing, variety. It's all about that stuff. But no one truly believed that. There was you're still going, no, actually, I want the games to look good because I do. I want the games to look good.
And it just wasn't a step forward in any way that we could see in that footage, was it? Like, absolutely not. If it looked bad, but it was like, oh yeah, but here's the AI, right? Here's here's a situation kicking off in this one base, and then fucking 2 miles away, the enemies have got the call. Here's the enemies mobilising, getting into dropships and flying over, and you'd be like, right, fuck, that's something like what maybe the impact on gameplay might not be different. Sean, you're saying
the best example of this is Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
Now, Breath of the Wild, when you saw screenshots and certain bits of that game, it looked like shit, right? The game come out and it's like, yeah, it's not the best looking game ever, but my word, when it all comes together, it is utterly breathtaking.
Yeah, because it's like visually bits of it were stunning, bits of it not so much. But then you add the systems into that and the depth of all the weird like physicsy stuff.
And the art style as well linked in with that. Like what it might lack in graphical fidelity, the art style sort of pushes things forward in some ways.
Yeah.
Now, am I suggesting that the same's going to happen here? Absolutely not. What we're saying is that it's possible. We don't know what this game's going to come out. But for the first time we've seen it, for Microsoft's arguably biggest franchise, that was a poor showing. Very poor showing.
It's
fine.
And
reading this blog post, it was weird. Like, at one point it says, there have been many positive comments about... And I'm like, where are they? Right? But for starters. And I'm not including the obviously... sponsored Twitch reactions that I've seen going around. Oh wow, fuck off. And there was also the mentions about some comments we didn't notice, and I'm like, how have you not noticed? Like, there's always that story that whenever a dev listens to a podcast or reads a review and they suggest something, they're looking at that going, yeah, we fucking tried it didn't work.
Yeah.
They've tried everything. Yeah. So it's weird to hear a dev go, yeah, we took on board your comments. Like, we hadn't really considered how bad the lighting looked. And I'm like, what?
Well, this is it.
This game was out in like 3 months.
But it's fine, because... Well, that's the thing, because this will be a very good game in 2 years' time, probably.
You keep saying that.
It's true.
Want the
that's
good
what
game
they'll
at
do.
the end of the year.
That's not going to happen.
Right.
It's yeah.
Well, we don't know, do we? We'll see. But my word, did it look shit.
Mind you, one of the things that I did think that I liked about this was, they talked about Craig. Phil Spencer talked about it as well.
Is that like the internet name that?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yes.
Right, okay.
So
Craig's not part of the official Halo lore.
Why have they got to that, Craig? How did that come up? I love it, because I do see it, like, everyone saying Craig and then posting his image. It cracks me up.
Well, 343 have said, we've all laughed very hard at the non-stop stream of Craig memes the community is cranking out.
No, you haven't laughed at that.
I mean, you've got to own it, so obviously they would say that, because
they would say that, but I've fucked up on the internet before, right? And I've seen people comment on it, and every time it goes ping, or you see a comment on about something stupid you've done, you feel awful. You feel terrible. There's no way they're sitting there going, have you seen this Craig meme? There's no way, no chance. Go on.
It's still making me laugh now, which I'm quite impressed with.
100%.
Even today,
every time
I've seen a bunch of new ones.
I mean, they said Craig is thick-skinned and seem to be taking it in his stride. Through all this fame and attention seems to be going to his head.
He's not real.
He's not real.
He's not real. He's
just a real nightmare for 343, eh?
Oh,
right?
Hey,
nice.
You need to get on that fucking have I got news for you, but God, that was that sort of level, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I maybe I'll talk about this now instead of what you've been playing. I've been playing a hell of a lot of Halo this week, like an insane amount of Halo. The Master Chief Collection, and it's so good. Like, it really, really is. So you can just set your playlist to what you want to play, and it's still really populated. So you've got, obviously, you got 1, 2, 3, 4 ODST and Reach on there. So you can cycle through those just between rounds. You can jump between game modes. You can turn off certain game modes or whatever. Just hit A and it just gives you a constant stream of multiplayer Halo, and it is just so good. Like, it really is. So I'm really interested to see what they're doing with the multiplayer. I am a little bit concerned that it's free to play.
Yeah, that was
what that means.
That was the next story I was going to talk about. Is because they've announced that it's going free to play, and but they said they haven't got any more details yet, or how they're going to how they're going to monetize it or whatever.
No,
but,
they'll get there eventually. I mean, we'll find all that stuff out eventually. But I just if they nail that basic Halo feeling, and which, to be fair, what's really surprising when you do go through those games one after the other, in that sort of multiplayer playlist, you do realise how much they evolved over the years. Like, you could tell the time that Modern Warfare come out. You know what I mean? It's stuff like that. But yet it still manages to get that feeling of Halo across every time you play it.
Dave,
I'm definitely going to give it a good go.
Did you play any of Halo 5 multiplayer?
No, because if you remember correctly, I didn't get Halo 5 when it came out. I don't know why. I don't know why I didn't get that, but by the time I think I couldn't afford it when it came out, and then 2 weeks later I could afford it, and all my mates were going, "Don't buy this game."
So this is what I'm wondering. How is the 343 created multiplayer? Is it as good as the?
Which ones did they did? They did 4, Halo 4, right?
Yeah, 4 and 5.
That was really good. Did they do Halo 3?
No.
Right, so Halo 3 was 360. They did Halo 4. Halo 4's multiplayer is excellent. Obviously Reach is fantastic. 3's fantastic too, but then that's Bungie. But yeah, no, Halo 4's multiplayer was really good.
I mean, I thought 5 was excellent. Me, John, and Chet were playing a fair bit at the beginning, and then we did drop off. But there's one, I don't remember the name of the modes now, but one was very much sort of felt quite esports where it's just 2-on-2 or 3-on-3 with quite small arenas. I thought that was an excellent mode.
Yeah, Halo's at its best when it's 4-on-4, small arenas, and you really feel like you're battling for each area of the map. It just feels really fucking good.
I wasn't a huge
fan. That's the exact
of
opposite, though, isn't it, of what Halo Infinite's going to be? Because the whole point is it's supposed to. Well, I don't think it's going to be small arenas with 4-on-4, is it?
Well, I think they might do loads of stuff, loads of different
because they're building this massive open ring, aren't they? That's the whole point.
No,
but it's got buildings in it. Not multiplayer.
They won't. They're not going to drop the thing, capture flag and all their other sort of famous game modes just because the single player may be open world.
But it could be across much larger maps and all that kind of thing with more people. I mean, I think they're going to want to get
they do have larger maps in.
I'm going to say, surely the thing with it being a big open world is it'll have the flexibility to do both.
Yeah, I mean, do you know what it reminds me of? First time, and I suppose this is a lie, but do you remember when Destiny first came out? Do you remember that map where it was sort of rocky terrain, but it was really quite short, and there was a capture point on this? They were in a sort of ruin, and then there was a capture point in this sort of circle building. Do you remember that? It was I think the beta was set in this map.
Oh shit! Yeah, another one you mean? Yeah.
That felt pure Halo. Now some of the others felt Halo, but that one specifically felt pure Halo, and I think that's what I've appreciated going back, because I played a lot of Battlefield, a lot of even Call of Duty. Those maps get wider and wider. Titanfall was very quite open. It had to be because it had massive robots in it. But going back to playing Halo now, you realise how tight all of those maps were, and it made for some fucking great moments, man. So if they nail that, then okay, whatever. The campaign I'll run through. If it's shit, I'll drop it. But if I feel fully ready to get into the multiplayer again, so I'm interested to see how they go. James might be right. Maybe they are ditching all that stuff, trying to make it a lot bigger and a lot. I think that would be a mistake, because I think Halo. Well, would it be a mistake? It would probably appeal to a wider audience.
That's what I'm thinking, because I'm thinking Battle Royale and all that kind of stuff.
Well, I'm sure game modes will have much larger environments, but
if they can do both,
they're not going to drop the things that made Halo multiplayer so good.
Mate, at this point, I didn't think it was going to look shit. At this point, I think anything's possible. So we'll see. But yeah, I'm in a Halo mood all of a sudden, man. I want to play. I want to see how Infinite comes out.
After reading that blog post, I felt a bit sad reading it. I just it. Obviously, the feedback hasn't been good on this game, and so team who are probably struggling anyway to get this thing out and make it incredible for launch. Like, read this and think, oh god, like, the stress and pressure they must be under.
Well, yeah, especially now. Like, it's not like they've delayed the game for it. It just means everyone's going to be working even harder than they were before.
I know. That's my worry. I feel like that Microsoft can't really afford to have a Halo game come out and be disappointing. I know, James, you said, it's okay, they're going to iterate on it, and they've said themselves are going to iterate on it, and, look at Sea of Thieves and other games like that, and in, 2 years' time, or whatever it's going to be, it will ultimately be an incredible game, regardless of what it launches like. But Halo's different. I feel like it needs to bang. If a Halo game comes out, this is like a big launch title, we assume, for the new console. Microsoft cannot afford for this to be like, well, I mean, unless you're diehard, I probably wouldn't bother. We'll wait for some updates. They can't afford for that to be the case. And like, I read this blog post and obviously see all the discourse about it and have my own thoughts about it. And I think, man, like, delay it. Like, I mean, I would much rather, and I'm sure everyone would agree, like, much rather they delayed it, which would be better for the game. Ultimately, I think it'd be better for Xbox rather than Xbox, a console launching with, potentially, again, it's all potentially, like a disappointing Halo. It's going to, like, it'd be better for Xbox, better for the game, better for the franchise. It's like,
the only thing it affects is the launch, right? Yeah. I mean, what else have they got?
But that's the thing. Yes, if that's the case, then who cares? Because the whole thing, as we're being continuously told, this is all about Game Pass. It's not about the hardware. So
I
just delay
agree.
it. Just delay it.
Yeah, I would be, if the news come out that they were delaying it to next year, I'd be really happy about that, actually.
Yeah, me too.
Because I think they really do. The difference is, Matt, right? Halo's not the draw it used to be. It's just not.
I don't know, man.
I mean,
do you reckon?
Yeah.
We don't know that. I mean, the new one hasn't come out for a while, and like, yes, 5 was a disappointment, and like so many things feel like I've moved on massively in the time
when
since 5.
When was the last Halo that people really loved? Reach, 2010. 2010.
Yeah, but Halo games aren't coming out every year. Like that is only like 2 Halos ago.
Halo games aren't coming out every year. People start to lose interest.
Also, we're in that sort of Sonic cycle as well with Halo games now. Where they what I mean by that is, like, they announce something and then everyone's like, they're going to go back to their roots. It's going to be great again, and then it turns out not to be like that.
Well, that's just for this one particular game that Pumi saying.
Yeah,
that.
You are just leveling that at Halo 5, right?
It's totally different, James. It's not. I mean, there's 1,000. Yeah, it's totally different. I mean, I would be much happier delayed. Do what I need to do. And it'd be better for Xbox, it'd be better for this Halo game, better for the franchise. If this game comes out and it's like a dud, I mean, 5 probably sold incredibly well because it's Halo, but I don't know. I'd much rather they delayed it,
they're
but
not
we'll see.
Delay it. I can't see them delaying it, no. That's the problem.
What would be the bigger thing, like the bigger sort of setback, them releasing
I agree with you, Matt.
a potentially, like, very disappointing game, and not having this game in their launch lineup, and they're going to show other games. We know that there'll be others.
Matt, I agree with you, but I don't think they're going to delay it.
They won't. I definitely think they won't. They should though, but they won't.
Okay, all right.
I kind of want to take a bet, but it's too. I feel like who knows? I mean, there is not long left now until his consoles are meant to launch. Look at how it looked. This blog post, I read it and I think, oh god, I just feel bad.
Yeah.
Just feel bad about it.
All right.
Anyway,
that's it. I've got no more news.
Did we touch on the multiplayer stuff? Yeah, free to play.
Right.
Did we talk about it or did we not?
What's to say? We don't know. We don't know what the because they're going to try and monetize it somehow.
We discussed this last week or the week before. Yeah, like, totally makes sense. Free to play. It's been confirmed now. It was a leaked from some Smiths advertising.
Yeah, I have my concerns about it, but Xbox games have come out and had free-to-play microtransactions that have proven to not be the bad type, if you know what I mean. You look at what they did with Sea of Thieves, it certainly didn't give you an advantage to spend money on it, but people wanted to spend money on it because it's a game that they liked, and it gave you that little cosmetic difference, which is fine. I think that's the way to do it.
And that's exactly what this will be. They'll be just cosmetic. That's all they'll be.
It'll be about a pass, no doubt.
Then at that point, you've got to make it free to play because people are only going to be playing this on Game Pass anyway. So you might as well.
No, I mean
they won't even need Game Pass.
That's what I'm saying. It was available on Game Pass anyway. It was going to be like part of Game Pass anyway. So you might as well open it up to everyone and let people, that gives the wider audience to pick up on these cosmetics and microtransactions. They're going to make more money out of it that way, aren't they?
Yeah.
And terribly, I can see myself paying up for a bit of Spartan customization because 3 and Reach, I fucking love that. Just earning new bits of armor and just messing around. Oh, I can have different shoulder plates on the left and the right, and I don't know why, but I'm gonna have different ones.
Yeah, that's the thing that I really did notice about playing Halo a lot this week.
Mm-hmm.
There's no real progression. Like there is like a bar that goes up. I'm not 100% sure what that does. But it feels like there's no real sort of, you've leveled up, you've unlocked this, you've got this cosmetic, you can now look like this. There probably is that stuff in there now, thinking about it, but I've not seen any of that stuff. It's certainly not front loaded when you like a normal game does now.
This is the last thing I'll say about Halo. So me and Sam have said we're going to play through. I think we're going to skip 2, but we're going to try and, like, over the next few months, like, try and do a few Halo games in co-op. Basically same as you have, Dave. Loading up, I don't know if this is the same on the console version, loading up the PC version of the Master Chief Collection. There was new patch notes came up, and it's like, oh, we've made more changes to matchmaking. I was like, hey, the matchmaking in Halo 3 was perfect. And I know it was like a documented thing, wasn't it, that they actually spent like shitloads on some incredible solution for the matchmaking in Halo 3. Because I remember for years it was like, why is any game not got perfect matchmaking when Halo 3 got it right? And it turns out it cost them a shitload of money. But very weird to, 10, 15 years later be playing a version of that and be like, hey, we've done another patch to the matchmaking.
Okay, so think of it this way. That matchmaking is based on skills detected from the player base.
Yeah.
The player base has changed a lot since those days.
True. Yeah.
So that it has to have constant tweaks. But yeah, no, I mean, it's getting updated all the time. It was updated last week. I had to download a new one.
Good that it is. Like, it'd be a shame if they just sort of flatted out when there you go, well, it's an old game, innit? So fuck it.
Yeah, we're not updating anymore. I'll tell you what you need to do. I can't wait for you to play ODSC. I think that is really going to knock your passion for that game.
It's a classic.
What level are you going to play it on? Like what?
I was assuming. I mean, we're not started yet. I was assuming heroic.
Okay.
Because although you know what I'm like about difficulty in games, I normally don't give a shit. But Halo's one of the few where when I stepped up to heroic, I was like, no, this is how it's meant to be.
Yeah, heroic.
In terms of campaign, right? Yeah. In terms of campaign, Halo 1 is really not aged well.
Yeah.
Halo, because there's a lot of repetition in that. Halo 2 is bizarre. Like, that first level is fucking incredible and the rest of it's shit. Halo 3, I can't really remember that one. Halo ODST is shocking. It really does. If you go into it thinking, these are just bits that they've chopped out of other games and they've stuck together, it's really weird. Yeah, Halo 4's decent. Halo Reach is just the best one.
Yeah.
And then, I remember... what was it? No, that's all of them, isn't it? I've covered all of them now.
Guardians,
I think. I don't know.
You missed out 5, but that might have been on purpose.
Oh, yeah. 5 was pretty terrible. Yeah. 5's weird. It starts out promising where you think, this is still really cool and it looks amazing. And then it gets to some really shit bits. So, did you ever play that one, Sean?
I didn't, no. And I was intrigued.
If you do ever end up playing it, just don't forget that you've got a dodge button, because there's a boss battle in that we were like, this is impossible and really frustrating. And then you realise all you got to do is press the dodge button for the attack and it becomes really easy. We'd just forgotten about it.
Amazing.
Yeah,
sounds good.
There you go.
Can't wait.
Halo chat.
Yeah.
That's the end of the news, so I've got nothing else.
Hey.
Right then, so what you've been playing. Before we start what you've been playing, did we mention the August update to Animal Crossing?
No,
so what's to say about it? Yeah.
Have you tapped out, Sean? Are you completely out?
I mean, I stopped playing it one day. It wasn't even a conscious decision. Just that need to load it up every morning or whatever just sort of went, and I'm not having a go because I still put about 150 fucking hours into it, but I dropped it sort of on the understanding it's like, well, there's going to be an update soon, and I'll be like, oh, cool. Like, even if I just check in once a month to see what the new thing is, fine. That would have been all right, but I'm not even doing that. Like, I'm not, the stuff they've shown off these monthly updates, I've just been like, oh no, I actually don't care.
So have you been on since the August one?
Nope. I've not done the swimming. I've not.
Oh well, yeah. No, that is painful. The swimming, it's so slow. It's unbelievable. God, if you get a scallop, oh God, here he comes. Can I have it? Yeah, here's a thing. All right. Yeah, it's not great. How about you, Matt? Are you fully out?
Well, a couple of weeks ago was the first time I hadn't bought turnips.
Fucking hell!
God, how many millions have you got now?
Like 24.
Oh Jesus Christ!
It'd be more than that.
But you know, whatever. It doesn't really matter.
So did I.
But I did buy them this week. I mean, I've been really busy recently. So I haven't really been playing it like I would have done. Elodie is still playing it every day. So
cool.
Yeah, Harry and Joe are still on it every day.
So I'm still like seeing it a lot because of that. And she was really excited about fireworks and this and that and the other. But no, I'm not playing as much. I mean, but I pick it up here and there. But I just feel like there's nothing really to do. I mean, like I could go around weeding the island. I built like a big old cliff to see if I can put something on there. But I wasn't really inspired to put anything on top of it. I wanted to add another shop or something to the.
That's the thing, isn't it? Fucking hell, let me get art more than once every 4 years.
Because this is the thing, isn't it? It's like, on the one hand, yes, of course, thanks to the pandemic, this game was played in ways that were never intended, right? But there are clearly things missing that have been in previous Animal Crossing games.
Absolutely.
And that's what makes it a little bit inexcusable.
So it's stuff that that they're probably going to add, but it's going to be like ages down the line, and that is really irritating, honestly. It's because it was never like that before. It's a move
from like all the games on the cartridge to a games as a service model, and it feels like it's not as agile at the moment.
But that's the thing, if you're going to do games as a service, you've got to actually have like substantive regular updates, not stuff like this.
And all the infrastructure stuff should be available through like normal play in like the first few weeks, and then it's the things that you can do with them changes over time, not like, oh, by the way, we're not going to give you half the buildings until next year or whatever, if that is what's happening.
So I still can't believe the shop. Like, we're still on the second iteration of the shop. Like, usually, if you're playing that on the previous versions of the game, you're only on that for like about a couple of weeks, and then you're on to a much bigger, much better one. And it's unbelievable that it's still exactly the same, like that stuff.
Really odd.
I will say this though. Sorry, go on, say that.
Chen's moved on. Like, I mean, she put in about. I mean, she's now playing. I mean, this is the first time ever that this has happened. No. This is the first time this has ever happened. She actually asked for a Switch game for her birthday.
Oh, nice.
And because
which one she's for?
Say again.
Don't get caught. That one.
Yeah.
Classic.
So she went for, because she's a long time ago she played Harvest Moon and really liked that, and so she bought Story of Seasons, rather I bought it for her. Yeah. And it's the remake. It's Friends of Mineral Town, and she's now playing that and is enjoying that a lot. So
I was going to say, is it good? Because I know the whole story is that the original team that did Harvest Moon buggered off and then have been doing Story of Seasons since. So although there are still Harvest Moon games coming out occasionally, I think they're all dog shit now, but Story Season's all right. Yeah.
That's the one, yeah. So this is a remake of an earlier version.
Valley?
I was going to say, get her on that. She played that.
She tried to play that and hated it. So
whatever. I bet you threw it at her and we can play it if you want, but it's fucking shit, mate.
Yeah,
if you
guaranteed.
Like it, then you're shit because the game's shit. Yeah. So don't just for shits, isn't it?
She didn't like it, but yes, she's enjoying Story of Seasons. So
cool.
That's good, I guess.
I will say this. I did realise. I've been sitting there saying this is a fucking joke how bad this has got. This update looks dog shit. But today, Harry decided to go into the dream thing, which I just thought is the most pointless thing I've ever seen in the game. Like, seriously. And he found his the dream code to his favourite YouTuber. Went and visited, because obviously he's been watching. His name's Zach Scott. And to be fair, Zach Scott, you probably never heard of him, but he's got millions of subscribers or views or whatever. And he's, Harry just adores his videos. And he's been watching him build his island as he's been, playing himself. So he's been watching that for months. and then all of a sudden he's tapped in the code that Zach Scott put up, and all of a sudden he's walking around that island, and I saw his little face. He was like, I saw the bit where he got caught in here and he couldn't get out, so he had to redesign this bit. And I was like, yeah, the game's for kids, innit? I forgot about that.
That's the thing, because we did the fireworks thing on Sunday.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, they all enjoyed it. I was bored, but they all enjoyed it. They thought it was good.
Furious.
Is that different? When you go to regular fireworks, is that the same, James? Or
pretty much, actually, to be honest.
Yeah.
You know, it's like,
what, you don't like fireworks?
It's all right, and it's just.
Fuck off, James.
No, you don't understand. No, look, I don't want to talk about this.
No, I do.
You just don't understand.
Do you know what makes it even worse? Right? You got the same birthday as me, November the 7th. There's always fireworks on our birthday, so how you don't associate fireworks to happiness is beyond me.
No, because you see, you've not experienced Chinese New Year in Shanghai. Like, when you experience that, it gives you a completely different perspective on fireworks. Seriously.
What do you mean?
Are we just shit at fireworks? Is that?
Well,
I can believe that. I can totally believe that.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Once you've seen things like that, you're like, it's great. Couple of rockets have gone up.
No, but I don't imagine you're like that. I can't imagine you being in Shanghai going, this is amazing. That's why I don't like it in Britain, right?
No,
I imagine you're sitting there going, I've had enough of it. I've had my fill of it. Fucking even if you went back to Shanghai for Chinese New Year next year and it was all kicking off, you'd be going, sick of this.
Well, it doesn't happen anymore because they've been banned anyway.
Oh,
but when it was there's reasons. But when it was happening, it was like the first couple of years. It was really good. It's like exciting and everything. After a couple of years though, because it's like a war zone. Honestly, like it goes on until like sort of 5-6 in the morning. It's still going off. Especially when we had Rachel had just been born, and we're like, it's just like explosions, like constant explosions, like you've never heard before.
Don't try and have sympathy for him, Sean. Highlight the fact that James was sitting there going, oh, for fuck's sake, what? Everyone was having a party.
James sitting there, I wish it was raining.
It's true. It's great when that does happen because it puts a dampener on the fireworks.
Keeps putting the fuses out, doesn't it, James?
Yeah. I like the firecrackers. That was always fun doing the firecrackers, and like we used to shoot like bottle rockets like out of the apartment window as well. That was pretty fun.
What are firecrackers?
Well, okay. You surely you must have got them from France, like when you were a kid.
Are you talking about? They're not the no, because what I think of firecrackers in my head are definitely not what they actually are. And it will make me look like an idiot. So tell me what firecrackers.
Are you thinking those things that you throw on the floor?
Yeah, those little gunpowder things.
I knew it.
Did you ever make like a line of them on the pavement and then ride your bike over it?
No, that sounds amazing.
Yeah, it's great.
No, we used to, because they had the little paper end bits. We used to twizzle about 40 of them together and then chuck them, and it would just be like bang, because they'd all go off together. It was great.
What was in those?
They're little
gunpowder.
Was it just gunpowder and a bit of a bit of stone or something?
No, was it just gunpowder and a bit of thing? Yeah.
Was it just? It can't have been just gunpowder.
Why not?
The only thing is, I don't know what I would look them up, but all I remember them being called was bangers, and I'm not googling that.
Oh, I am. And what was it? I mean, imagine we lived in a time in Britain where they just used to sell gunpowder to kids.
Yeah, I mean, I assume they're not around anymore. I've never.
Well, firecrackers aren't allowed here. Like, you're not allowed to use them. But in China, you have them because you use them for like when you get married and stuff like that. You let them off.
So why are they then?
Well, I've put a picture in the Discord, but not in Discord, in the WhatsApp, which I know. They're just like tiny little sticks of dynamite. They're just like yeah.
What? And you used to just light them and chuck them?
No, because they're tied together with fuse. And so then what you do is you light one, and then it then goes through, and they all explode. Like,
and they go bang, 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 bang.
Yeah,
okay,
basically.
Gotcha. Right.
But then, like when I was a kid, we used to go on those like crappy like day trips to France, like with the school or whatever, and then we used to like buy them, and then you'd like buy them in like a massive pack. But then because you wanted to make them last, you'd like take them out and then take like sort of unwind them all, so you had like one at a time, and then just let them off, whenever you felt like it.
Well, we used to get BB guns, mate. That's what we used to do. Get the BB guns, innit? Know what I mean? Never got them through customs, not once. And the flick combs, do you remember them?
Yeah, flick.
They look like a flick knife,
and the porno cards. There's the porno cards as well.
Them,
that you used to get.
No, not my style.
Ooh. Okay. Yeah, me neither. It's yeah.
Cool, yeah.
I'm trying to right. So I've gone with an incognito tab. Turns out if you search for bangers, by the way, on Google, it thinks you mean bangers and mash.
Nice.
But I can only find. I found a story about the ones in the UK, but they're like little red sticks.
Yeah.
I see. We never had those. We just had the little pellet ones. So
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but the pellet ones are pathetic.
No,
these ones are like proper explosions. It's brilliant.
I love.
Weird shit that you used to buy when we were kids. There's a subject. Those little round red things that you put in the gun. Do you remember them?
Sorry.
Yeah.
You mean like a
I
cap
know what
gun?
you mean.
Oh, caps.
Yeah, they were like
Cap
Yeah,
guns.
caps,
yeah. Give them to kids. Fine, fuck it. Who cares? Cigarette candies. I'm walking around going, ooh, I'm smoking.
Oh my god.
Do you remember? Did you have those fake cigarettes where you had to blow into them and it was like talcum powder in it or whatever, and it would blow out and look like smoke?
That does not sound safe.
Did you not have them?
No.
Oh, we definitely fucked our lungs up for that. Like they were like paper things, and then you blew it, and somehow the end bit turned red, and the talcum powder would come out and look like smoke.
Oh my god.
Why was there
Lads.
so many toys aimed at smoking? Like,
Lads.
I know.
On
We used to walk around with our Ben
Amazon.co.uk,
Sherman. Yeah,
you
I
can-
loved all that shit.
you can get 500 of the shitty little paper bangers for £2.97.
Oh, mate,
This is the
I'm
fun
all over
snaps
that.
throw bangers.
That's the ones.
I'm thinking
Fuck
we
it.
just.
Can we do a toys podcast?
I was thinking like we do a stream where we just bought loads of old shit and we like.
Speaking
test
of
them
which,
out.
James, have you got your Lego Mario yet? I mean, your son's Lego Mario yet?
Yeah, he's been playing with it.
Fucking brilliant, isn't it?
It is very good. Yeah.
You know, you
It's,
look at those
yeah.
things, you just think, "Fucking hell, that's expensive, Jesus Christ!" And then you look at
it's
it and you
totally
go,
worth it.
"Oh my god, it's amazing."
Yeah.
You know, it reacts to normal Lego. Well, I mean that's a bit of a lie. It does, but it
Well, does it or
basically
does it not?
it's got a colour reader underneath it. So yes,
right.
it reacts to normal pieces of Lego, but it also reacts to my jeans because it knows it's blue. So if I walk him along my leg, it does the sound of Mario walking in water. Like it's
Asher was well excited by that. He like came running up to me and he's like, "Look at this on my red T-shirt." And he was like doing it.
and
It was
turns
like, it was
into
making up the
fire.
lava sound.
Yeah, it's quality. Mate, honestly, the first time he turned that on, like turned the face on and everything, his mind was blown because it just looks so fucking cool. Yeah, fair play. The Mario Lego stuff is brilliant. It's going to cost us a fortune.
That's the thing, like
expansion set.
Asher, like he was like, "I love this," and he's like, he's looking at the box, and then he's looking at the instructions that come with it, which then obviously is selling you all the other stuff. And he's like, "I want Bowser's Castle," and I'm like, "Well, if you've got 90 quid, you can give me."
Yeah, forget it. No, we were in the other day because I took Isaac to Smith's just to get him just whatever he wanted, to be honest. I was like, oh, fuck it, I've got a day off with him, who cares? Well, he's only 2, so it's a dice roll. He could pick something that's £150, or he could pick something that's £8. As it happened, this was an £8 visit. But yeah, they had all the Lego Mario stuff out, and I was like, oh man, technically I could, but he's too young, there's just no point. Only 2, he'd just smash it all.
James and David, if you both have the starter kit, is that what you've got?
Yeah, we got the starter kit. Did you get that little extra, the pre-order extra?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, we got like the mushroom power-up little packet thing.
Oh yeah, we did get that, and then also Asher has bought. He's already bought some of those blind bags as well.
There's blind bags with it.
There's like it's Super Mario character like blind bags. I can't remember how many there are to collect, but he was lucky because he bought some, and he got all of. He didn't get any duplicates.
How much are they?
I'm just having a look on here because Chen bought them. I didn't buy them.
Tenner. They're selling the suits for £9.
Well, that is it, isn't it?
No, the suits. You know what you're buying, right?
No, I thought the suits were the blind bag, which are £9 or £10.
Oh, fuck off!
Yeah, I'm just having a look here. Super Mario character. This is on Amazon. Yeah, it's like £10.
Wait, yeah, but what's in them, James? Is the discussion?
You get 10. You get like 10 characters or whatever.
Okay, I'll just look at it myself. Okay, should we get on to Jesus Christ? What do you
want to know? You said, what is it? And I said, it's £10. You get 10 characters. What else do you want to know?
What are the what do you mean characters?
Well, 10 things from Mario. Like you get like a Boo, or you get like a Bullet Bill and stuff like that.
And they react to the thing, do they?
Yeah.
Right, okay, fine. Yeah, so they're not what Matt is saying is what we're getting to. They ain't Jesus Christ. Should we get on to what you've been playing?
Yeah.
Can I,
Right,
before we
good.
do that, can I read out the full list of nicknames for what are officially called bang snaps?
Please do.
100%.
According to Wikipedia, bang snaps, also known as devil bangers, lil splodies, throwdowns, snappits, poppers, whack pops, poppies, poppets, snappers, snapdragons, whippin' pops, pop snappers, whippersnappers, fond snaps, party snaps, pop pops, whiz bangers, cherry poppers, pop rocks, snappin' pops, or bangers.
There we go.
So now you know.
Our new sponsor. Our new sponsor. James, can you send me a link to where you can buy those blind bags from? I'm going to buy 8. Right,
Yeah,
okay.
sorry, the blind bags are £3.50, but if you want like the abilities, they're the ones that are tenner. And
Okay, £3.50. Right, okay, let's move on. What you been playing this week, Matt?
I've been playing Carrion. We've all played that. So,
Carry on?
Carry on.
Carrion?
Carry on what? Hey.
Carrying up the monster.
Well, people have been pronouncing it like Carrion, but it's
Carrion.
Carrion, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Carrion.
I mean, it's O-N, not A-N, whatever, regardless.
Yeah, Carrion.
I'm playing that game. We'll talk about that. I started playing Grounded because...
don't mention Carrion and then go on to Grounded. This is weird. Why are you doing that?
Because we're all going to talk about Carrion. So
then,
So why don't we talk about it then?
Okay, fine, playing Carrion.
How far in are you, Matt?
I finished it.
You finished it? Oh, shit, okay.
It's not that long, is it?
It's not a long game, no.
Matt, you finished James, you finished it as well, right?
I did, yeah.
Yeah. Sean, have you played it?
Played it. I haven't finished it, though. I put maybe, hour, 90 minutes into it.
I fucking loved it.
Yeah, me too.
I absolutely loved it. I really, really got into it. I loved everything about. Well, not everything, but I loved a lot about it.
It's been one of my favourite experiences of this year. I
yeah,
thought it was really
it's
good.
up there for me as well. Yeah. So if you don't know what Carrion is, it's a digital Devolver game, which actually
digital Devolver game.
What is it? Is it digital?
Devolver Digital.
Devolver Digital. Or we just call them Devolver, really.
Digital, Devolver Digital, whatever. You know what it's like. It's a a 2D, very pixelated game that's very, very violent. The twist on this one, or the hook.
It's not pixelated, it's pixel art.
Well, it is pixelated, isn't it? It's all chunky and shit. What I will say is that the hook is just instantly interesting. You know, think Alien, and when you think an Alien game, you're controlling people who are being hunted by the alien. This is the reverse. You are the monster. You're controlling the monster, going around labs and stuff and terrorizing humans and picking them off in various different ways. A lot of puzzling, a little bit of combat. But it really is mainly about how do I get from A to B, avoiding certain enemies or taking enemies out in certain orders or whatever. But the thing is so wonderfully animated, and the progression through the. I spent 3 to 4 hours on it. You said it was only about 2 to 3, right, James?
Yeah, I thought it was about 2 or 3 hours.
I might have even topped out at 5. I spent a long time on that game.
I think I was around 5. Yeah,
it depends on how much you want to torture people, really, doesn't it? As well, how long you want it to go on for.
I loved it. Whenever you find the areas where there's no one with guns that can attack you back, it's so fun because you stand outside the door, you growl, you watch them all try and run off, then you move to another part and you pick one of them up and you just dangle them over the rest of the people that are there
but
as you
also
slowly move them up to your mouth and chew them, and their corpse just falls down on top of them.
The screaming is brilliant as well because it's so sort of pathetic sounding.
It's pathetic sounding. Also, if you stay in one area, I don't know if you noticed that you drip blood.
Yeah.
So if you're above them, you're just dripping blood down from the ceiling. It's just horrific. I found myself to be not comfortable with how I played this game at all. But yeah, I mean, it's a 2D puzzle game essentially, isn't it? There are switches everywhere, and there are gaps and different abilities that you unlock that lets you get to different areas. But it doesn't go as far as being a sort of Metroidvania because it doesn't require
that's the thing,
you to go back.
It's really not a Metroidvania. I mean, I found it to be very linear.
Very
but
near,
in a very good way. And this is why, sorry, Sean.
So, no, I was just going to say, I'm happy to hear that, because certainly, from what I've played, there's no map, is there, for example? Which makes sense. Right. Like, you're an animal, right? Fine. But I was a bit like, I hope I'm not going to be expected to backtrack with any sort of intent at any point.
This was my first complaint with the game, and I think it's everyone's first complaint with the game. It needs a map. It doesn't.
Yeah.
You think it needs a map when you start playing, because you don't know where you're fucking going or what you're doing, and it's really confusing. I think the game does need a better way of showing you where to go, because I mean, the classic example that is completely unreal is how to finish the game. So you come out of the last level and you don't even know it's the last level. You don't know where you're supposed to be going next. You walk around for ages until you finally look it up. That's what I had to do. And it was
I do the same thing.
What
That's a shame.
the hell? How am I supposed to know that I was supposed to go there and then do that to get out to the end of the game? So signposting is probably its worst thing. And I think that adds to the part of what you've been saying at the start there, Sean.
Yeah.
That you feel like you're in this big open environment that you're supposed to be going back and forth from, and you get lost a bit. When really, just go to the place you haven't been yet, and you're going the right way. That's how you find your way around that game.
The thing is it kind of makes you feel that it's going to be like a Metroidvania kind of thing as well, because of the fact that you get like DNA upgrades as well, which give you more abilities, and you're thinking, oh, maybe I could use these somewhere I've been before, but no, you don't really do that. It's mostly used for whatever you've got ahead of you. I did
that, because when I got a certain ability, I was like, okay, now I can smash through that. Great. What is up there? I mean, and if you want to go for the hidden, I can't remember what they call it. It absolutely
has that stuff. Yeah, I mean, if you go back into the earlier levels, you can access a lot more of that level than you would have been able to the first time. It's just there's no need to do that.
You don't need to, yeah.
Whereas in Metroidvania, you have to do that. In this, you really don't. Like, you can just go through the game in the linear fashion that it's built and finish it, and fine. Matt, what did you think of it overall before we get into specific?
Overall, I really, really enjoyed it. The bits towards the end with combat kind of did my head in. There's one particular enemy that I just didn't like dealing with at all. It's the drones. One? The drones where you couldn't attack them in the same way you've been attacking everything else.
The ones, the flying drones, right?
Yeah, the flying drones.
I will tell you something that's going to wind you up completely. You know the spider's web thing ability?
Yeah.
You just do that and it wipes them out completely. When I realised that, I was like, oh my God, why have I spent so much time trying to fight these things?
I was doing that, but when I had 6 of them chasing me and I had barely any health.
So then you just go in the corner and fire it at them repeatedly and it just kills them all. It takes 2 seconds.
But basically, I tried that, but often I'd shoot that big sort of spiderweb thing at it, and nothing really happened. And it's only when I tried to essentially felt like I had to grab that and yank it and smash it against the wall. But that I found quite difficult at times when I had loads of them chasing me and I had no health and stuff. And the monster is unwieldy when it's at its largest. And obviously, I think
if I had one complaint that was a real complaint, so initially I was thinking a map, but then I was thinking, the signposting could be better, but it's not the end of the world. The control scheme does, I mean, I've heard that it's built for playing on a PC, that it doesn't translate that well across to console gaming. Now, you will get through it. I certainly got through it. There were a few frustrating moments for sure. The control system's not perfect, especially when you need the precision of trying to grab things, and that gets a little bit frustrating. But I just
sometimes it's not even easy. Sometimes you're not even sure what end of the creature you're controlling when it's as large.
I think that's by design, though.
I don't know. I think it is, but it's also kind of unwieldy, and again, unwieldy I know is part of it. But there's an ability where you can sort of elongate a part of the monster to do something, and sometimes I'll press Y, I think, on the Xbox to do that, and I'm like, oh, is it coming out of that end? I thought it was coming out of this end, and I have to move the creature around to get through a grate. I mean, this is a little sort of nitpick thing, really, but
it does get extra tentacles 100%. As well later. Once you get extra tentacles,
that ability you're talking about, Matt, is so fucking good though.
Oh, it's
when you first do it, you're like, oh my God, this opens up so much opportunity to fuck with people that it is too perfect. It's too perfect. And that's I think that's what made me love it so much, is that you start off feeling like that you're this unstoppable monster that's going around killing everyone, and it's really fun to do. But each new ability just adds to it all. You know what I mean? Every ability you got, it opened up my imagination. I can do this now. I can fuck this up. You know, I can do this. And then on top of that, there's layers on it where it knows that it's doing that. But then also, I don't want to spoil anything, but there's an ability that you get that's really exciting. And then later on, you get to do stuff with that ability that I just didn't even cross my mind. I was like, oh my God, I get to control this now. It's fucking wonderful. It's just, yeah, man, that
yep.
I loved every minute.
I really liked
issue of it.
Sorry, mate.
Go on, Sean.
No, go on. I was going to go on a tangent, so.
Well, I mean, me too, I guess. I think the combat, I wish there was less of it, actually. Like, when you got in the room and there was like the guys with like flamethrowers or the shields.
Yeah.
It just kind of like took away a bit of the enjoyment. I much preferred it when I could go into like wreck shop and scare the people and
I
stuff.
love they don't drop that as well, because, you know, with games like this, it would usually be unarmed enemies, then armed enemies, then armoured enemies, and then progressing from there. But it still had massive rooms full of like unarmed enemies about that you could fuck around with. But the only thing that I will say with that is that I liked those sections, because I went from being this like crazy monster ripping everyone's heads off to suddenly thinking, okay, I've got to think here now. And every room where it's loaded with enemies, there are so many different areas that you can move to, distract them. It has that whole, you know, The Last of Us throwing a bottle thing, where you move to one area, you make a sound on purpose, so everyone's facing one way or freaking out or whatever, and then you can slip down what is, you know, sort of a vent or whatever, and then attack them from the other end and then pick them off one by one. And that, I just love that change of pace.
Yeah, I mean, what I did enjoy about those is that they felt like a puzzle, but what I didn't enjoy is like, okay, I'm on fire, I've got bomber, I've got escape, and I've got drones on me and loads of enemies. I thought that kind of took
I had a
some
few
enjoyment
moments where that caught me, but I don't think, I never saw it as a negative.
See, I like that because it felt like a change of pace, and it felt
Completely.
like, okay, now I need to sort of like think a bit more actually about how I'm approaching each of these rooms, and I quite like that. You know, it was especially because then things that happen later change things up again. I think
100%.
My favourite part of the game definitely is the puzzles, and there are basically multiple sizes of the monster, and each of those sizes then you have certain abilities which you can only use depending on the size of the monster you are.
That's right.
And the way you sort of change size is that you find like these pink pools of liquid, and you can dump some of your biomass, so you can make yourself bigger or smaller. If you dump some, we can pick some up again. And I thought that was excellent, because I would go into an area, it's like, okay, well, I need to do this certain ability, so I need to now find somewhere to make the monster smaller, go back, do that thing, then make myself like 2 times bigger to do this certain thing. And some of those puzzles were brilliant, where I'm like, maybe you can see the whole thing on one screen. So I'm like, okay, I've got to do this, get here, go back, make myself bigger or smaller, do that again. And those puzzles were the most fun bit for me.
Yeah, the puzzles seem to be pretty great. I mean, there's a few times where I'm sitting there just going, what the fuck do I do here? And then, of course, this is what I'm supposed to do. And I will say this as well. Go on.
Sorry.
No,
I was going to say there was a couple of times it's like where I'd forgotten abilities that I had, like in terms of like depending on which version of the creature you are at any time. And
it's interesting, isn't it? Because seeing all the trailers and stuff, I assumed it was just you start small, and through the course of the game you get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. So to then have this sort of interesting sort of back and forth between like, oh, actually now I need to be small again so I can be stealthy and then bigger again.
It's really good. Stuff.
Yeah, it's really nicely done.
The music is excellent in this.
The music is fucking incredibly good.
It's Hans Zimmer at points. It's really like epic. It's fantastic.
And it's also the sound effects as well, especially of like the tentacles. Just touching everything. It just sounds horrendous, but in the best way.
I think what surprised me the most about this was, as you know, not being a big horror guy, and I was like, oh, maybe I'll be okay with it because at the end of the day, I'm the monster in this one, so I'm not going to feel like, there's no real fear there as such. But then I thought, but am I just going to find it a bit sort of grim and sadistic? I mean, it sounds like the way Dave's playing it, I'd probably have an issue with. But
fuck him up.
but it sort of evades any sort of guilt because ultimately you're just like, I didn't ask to get made. Do you know what I mean? This is just it's just what the creature is, and not saying that every scientist on this base like deserves to get eaten alive, but they were fucking with things that presumably, I mean, I don't know the full story yet, obviously, fucking with things beyond their understanding.
I don't know the full story yet either,
okay,
to be
fair
honest
enough.
with you, Sean.
And it's just like, at the end of the day, you're an animal, and, you're just trying to get out. You're just trying to survive. You're just trying to get out. Like, when
we were talking about it, I can't remember if it was with you or with Chet and John, but when we were talking about it, someone was going, that just looks fucking grim. That looks horrible. And I was just like, yeah, but that's not how it feels. It feels so fun to have this much power and to fuck around, like that. So you really do get that.
Well, this is it, because
feeling that you walk into a room and you're like, I'm in control here.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's great.
Well, this is it. And you sort of, it alters your perception because of obviously the way the monster looks, like it's just all fleshy and teeth and something we recognize as like horrific, but morally, like, this is no different to like Ape Out, right? You're just a caged creature that just wants to fucking get out.
That came to mind.
Yeah,
that did come to mind, that game.
Yeah,
while I was playing it, I think this does the Ape Out thing way better. And I mean, if you ignoring the music element, which I wasn't impressed with anyway in that game, but I mean, it really does have that sort of feeling, but it's less frustrating. I find it way less frustrating than I did Ape Out. Ape Out just drove me fucking nuts by the end of it. But this didn't. This kept my attention. And I will say this as well. That ending was so perfect.
Yeah, the ending was brilliant.
Not going into it, but that ending was so perfect, especially for the way I played it. I was just like, it's not what you're thinking based on what I've said on this podcast, but just the thought of it was like, oh God, what a moment. So yeah, I mean, I'm with you, James. It's one of my favourite. I don't know, it's impacted me quite a lot. I just having this weird connection with this game, and really enjoying it, but also being horrified at myself for enjoying it is it's been quite a moment for me this year. So yeah, highly recommended, Carrion, and it's on Game Pass.
Certainly is. Is it on PlayStation? It's on Switch, isn't it?
It's on Switch.
It's on Switch. That's how James played
it.
Yeah. How's it run on Switch? All right.
Perfect. Yeah,
nice.
Absolutely no problems.
But yeah, it's on Game Pass, and if it's £15, then I'd say it's worth that.
It's worth it. It's definitely worth it for that. Yeah.
Yeah, fantastic game.
Cool.
Matt, did you have anything else?
Well, I've started playing Grounded because obviously it came out on it's Xbox game preview on the console released and early access on PC, and that came out last week, and it's been blowing up over the weekend. It had, I think they said over 1 million downloads, and it was like massively viewed on Twitch and whatnot. And I heard loads of positive stuff about it. And so I've only played about 45 minutes of it so far. I've never played a Fallout game, so I don't think I've even played an Obsidian game before. But it is, from what a lot of people tell me, it's a shrunk down Fallout. It's so the game is you are.
Wait. I played a bit of it. It's nothing like Fallout.
Yeah, I've not heard that either, I'll be honest.
Oh, I mean, okay, so I'm thinking about Fallout 76, sorry.
Oh, right.
I hear it's got a lot of same sort of like mechanics and stuff as that. But you've been playing as well, have you, Sean?
I mean, only a bit, sort of, again, but only about an hour or so. It seemed all right. It's one of those, I was quite tired at the time. I was just like, John, I'm not taking any of this in. I'm just going to save it. But yeah, I really like the idea of it. Just being...
Yeah. So you play a kid who's like, shrunk down, or absolutely tiny in his back garden, and I guess the story of sorts is to work out how or why, or to maybe get back to regular size. But you're absolutely tiny in this garden, so you see the baseballs that are 10 times the size of you. You see you're amongst ants and bugs and all sorts of things. And I'm only about 45 minutes or so, an hour or so into the game, but I'm basically crafting abilities to get weapons, to make sure I've got water, I've got some food. I think you can start building shacks and buildings that they create sort of save points. So when you die, you can wake up in those rather than waking back up at the start of the level. There's a day-night cycle, and so far I'm enjoying it. Like I'm still like on my first night, and it's pretty bloody terrifying. I mean, obviously. The last few days, there's been a lot of talk online about what they do in terms of spiders, because it's got a sort of arachnophobia mode whereby you can go in the settings.
I appreciate that. Should be in all games.
Oh yeah, definitely. So you can go in the settings and you can change them from the spiders that they are all the way down to basically these white blobs, which don't look spider-like at all, and I presume they're just floating white blobs. I mean. Spiders don't scare me like they seem to scare David, but this game is terrifying. When you hear one, and they're huge as well. It's really terrifying. Like when you've got any sort of threat nearby, and that could be there's just like little red whites, whatever they're called. Like even when they're nearby and they're going to attack you, like the music starts up, but then like you might see loads of like the blades of grass, which are 5-10 times the size of you. So it's the same as seeing like the trees move in like a Jurassic Park movie. Like something massive is coming through. In this case, it's like a wolf spider, and they're absolutely terrifying because they've got the red eyes that they can chase after you. Like I said, I'm still playing in the night, and I'm kind of scared to go anywhere. There's one mission where I had to work out why this laser or something in the garden wasn't working, and I found like the power cable, and the power cable. There's always mites on the power cable which are basically biting into it, and that's causing the thing to short circuit. So you go up and down this power cable, killing all these little mites to get the power back, but that power cable then went underground into this cave where there's obviously going to be a massive spider. I've still got no weapons apart from like these little rocks I found, and it was pitch black, and I didn't have the ability to craft like a torch or anything. Well, no, I had the ability. I didn't have all the equipment. So right now I'm just sort of on a leaf, like waiting for the morning to come because I'm too scared to go down there. But I'm definitely going to keep playing. I hear actually you can get through the single player component like really super quickly, like a couple of hours or so. Like that's what they got. It's not one of these game preview games where they've got absolutely shitloads of content, but it's quite wafer thin. I think they've basically said, here's where we are, and this is like fully, I mean, obviously they're working on it, but there's only a short amount of content, but what content is there is sort of is really well realised, rather than doing tons of missions and stuff in this preview, but they're all really wafer thin or broken. So I hear you can get through that relatively quickly. There's also a big multiplayer component as well, which I'm really interested to play. And Sean, if you keep playing it and we both start enjoying it, it'd be cool to try out some multiplayer.
Yeah,
definitely. I think you can have up to 4 players at once.
Okay, cool.
And so I mean, I don't know if like James or Dave, you fancy this at all, even with like the spider thing? No,
not particularly.
I don't like bugs, full stop, really.
You see, it's weird, right? Because as a fellow arachnophobe, I don't mind when they're much bigger than me, weirdly.
Oh, really?
Yeah, for me, it's the idea that one could just like fucking crawl up the back of the sofa and then up onto my neck and then...
Shut the fuck up.
No, exactly. But if it's massive, I'm just like, well, there he is. He's not sneaking up on me. It's fine. So I'm all right with like Earth Defense Force and stuff. But then, as you say, Matt, it sounds like they are terrifying for other reasons. So maybe I shouldn't be so bold.
Being chased, or and me having no weapons at the moment, I don't want to deal with them. But yeah, like I've died a fair bunch of times, and as you go through the game and you collect items like bits of leaf and all sorts of stuff, and use them to craft items and so on and so forth. When you die, you can go back and collect them. There's like a backpack that's left. So that's pretty cool. Like when I first died and I lost everything, I was like, oh god, am I going to have to start again and start collecting things? But no, I just had to go back and collect the backpack of all the stuff I picked up previously. Yeah, I'm enjoying it so far. It's very intense, but I'm interested to see how much I go on and play. It's just cool scenes like these massive, these things which are tiny in real life, but because you're shrunk down, it's pretty cool to see how well that stuff's being realised in like the art style, which is really nice and pleasant. It's cool to see like a massive baseball or some other like like this electronic toy which you can get inside, and you'll be on like the circuit boards and stuff because you're so tiny. Does this interest you at all, James?
If my Xbox worked, maybe. I don't know.
Okay, right.
Yeah. Fucking S. How much is an S now?
200 quid in it.
Well, actually, yeah, it's pretty pricey for what
exactly.
It is.
I genuinely really do want to buy a new Xbox, but I'm just waiting, for whatever's going to come.
See what they announce. Yeah.
Now it feels like a bad time.
Do you think you're going to keep playing it, Sean?
You're sorry?
Do you think you'll play it much more?
Yeah, no, definitely. Like I say, it was one that I was sort of, as I say, I just wasn't taking anything in, but it's just 'cause I was playing it too late at night and I was knackered. So I was just like, no, rather than try and push on and then come away not liking it, I'm just going to stop and I want to come back and give it another go. So yeah, and yeah, like I say, I've been hearing loads of positive stuff about it. So yeah, we'll definitely try and do a co-op stream playing. That'd be cool.
Awesome. And cool. That's all I'm playing really.
James, have you got anything else to talk about?
Yeah, I mean, I've been playing Ghost of Tsushima quite a lot.
So have you, Sean, right? You've finished that now.
Because you finished it, haven't you? Yeah. And I mean, it's weird because I feel like I've put a lot of hours into this, and I only just finished Act 1, and it feels like I've been playing for about 20 hours, which is ridiculous. And you see, Sean and I have been talking about this over WhatsApp, and I feel weird about this game because I'm really enjoying it, but I'm not sure why. Is the thing. And it's like the story is really basic, and there's a lot of busy work, and it's mostly busy work, but I'm enjoying that busy work, and I keep doing it, and I'm not sure why. It's really strange. It's a really strange experience I'm having with this.
It's just got a compelling loop, regardless of whether you might ascertain whether it's a good or bad one. Whatever it is, it's got its hooks into you.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what it is. I mean, I've just been enjoying just exploring and doing side missions, and it's weird because I've now opened up like another island from the first part that you're on, and I feel really daunted because it's massive. Yeah. It's enormous, and it looks like, I mean, the first part, it felt like it took me ages, and I haven't even finished like exploring the whole of it. This looks even bigger, and I'm just thinking this is going to be a 100-hour game, like at this stage, and I'm enjoying it, but it still feels strange because I can't quite put my finger on why. Are you doing every
like side mission or something in a certain area before you moved on? Is that why you feel like you played so much?
Not really, because I'm not like seeking them out. It's just as I come across them and they happen, it's like I'm doing them. Like if they appear, I'm not sort of ignoring them. But I'm now beginning to think maybe I should just mainline it. But then I'm still enjoying doing that stuff.
That's what I ended up doing once I got into Act 2. As you say, it's this the amount of time I'd spent in Act 1, and I just thought, Christ, like if I spend as much time trying to do side stuff in Act 2, and this is 3 acts in total, then yeah, this is going to be like 100 hours plus, and I haven't got time. So yeah, I did pretty much mainline it. I tried to see as much of the world as I could, because that was a big thing. So obviously when I talked about it last, like there were elements of it I was really enjoying, but there was a lot of stuff I really didn't like about it. But certainly what was pushing me on was, so you're in Act 1, as you say, you're on this sort of the southernmost bit of the island, and you look at the world map, and I was just like, considering how beautiful everything's been in this first act, I can't not see the rest of this island, because there's they say that first section only, it's not even a third of the island. It must be like a quarter, maybe less. And I've got to see the rest of it, if nothing else. And yeah, I am really glad I persevered with it. It's like the story gets better, but it's more in terms of Like like there's lots of like really like in the main story missions, there's loads of like really cool set pieces and like really excellent like cinematic bits with like just huge fights kicking off and stuff. And yeah, those bits are fucking great. They're so good. The like some characters in it are quite interesting. But like,
are you going to address the bit of feedback that you had a couple of weeks ago?
The guy is his uncle. I'm sorry I didn't mention that the guy is his uncle. That's just one of many things about him that I just wasn't bothered about, so I neglected to mention it. This is the guy I was talking about in the first chapter. You're trying to save, your uncle, and he's just like he does become more interesting in Acts 2 and 3. It's like there's loads of stuff that happens, like especially in Act 2. That like if they just put a bit of it right at the start of the game, I'd be like, right, he's my mate, he's basically my dad, he's cool, like here's us fighting together. Like there's loads of excellent moments with like the two of you fighting together, and it feels great. And it's like just put one of them at the start rather than cutscene, now he's been imprisoned, see you later. So I don't think it does a great job of introducing him, but whatever. I think, do you know what really clicked for me? I don't know if you've had the same thing, James. You know, I was saying last time about the crossover between your samurai abilities and your ghost abilities, because you know there's this whole thing that it's like, for the main character Jin, it's this sort of struggle, right? Because he was trained as a samurai, which is all about like being honourable and facing your opponents head on. But then he starts, in order to deal with the Mongols basically single-handedly, he's like, right, well, I'm going to be a sneaky fucker now, and I'm going to start.
He's just going around slitting throats.
Exactly, which he hates initially, right? And he
gets addicted to it.
He does. He does. And you're spending as you're leveling up, you're spending points on new abilities, and you're like, well, shit, do I put them into the ghost abilities or into the samurai ones? And the answer is both, because they they both work towards each other really well. And as I was saying, like you'll maybe start an encounter by trying to pick off a few people in stealth. Then maybe you get spotted, and then you'll have a bit of a fight. But it doesn't like alert the entire base, right? So you can just then deal with a couple of guys head on, and then you're back into stealth again. And you're constantly dipping in and out, and that's really nicely done. But also, it's when you start realizing that you can be like, right, fuck, this is like a big fight with like 10, 20 guys or whatever. So then, and you'll do a couple of them, like properly, have a proper little fight with them, like doing some, parries, changing stances depending on what weapons they've got, etc. And like having a good time. Then you're like, right, this is getting a bit heavy. Fuck this. Smoke bomb. Assassinate 3 of them. There's a guy up on a cliff. He can have a grenade in the face. Fucking throw some knives at them. Dart out of the way. Jump on someone. Assassinate. And then eventually get spotted again. And then you're back into a proper fight. And it's. And it was like, and I just sort of remember halfway I was through one of these encounters, and I just went, "Oh my god, I'm fucking Batman! That's who this character is. He's Batman."
Yeah, and like that's the thing, because the combat system is brilliant.
Yeah,
like I think it has a brilliant combat system, and it like the way that you can like shift between all those modes so quickly and so easily is brilliant. It's great, but the only thing I would say about that, and I think they talked about this on Giant Bomb, is this sort of. It would have been nice if there was some consequences for some of this, and at the moment, I'm not feeling that there are any.
Well, this is it. Yeah, you sort of like the most no spoilers. The most underhand thing that you do, that like really sort of shifts people's perception of who Jin is. You have no control over. It's the next story mission. You're doing this. Deal with it. Whereas in moment-to-moment gameplay, you can choose how most situations you can choose how you tackle it, but actually the important story bits, there's no real choice to it. The only effect, there's a choice at the end, but then it's not really like a ghost versus samurai thing. I suppose you could interpret it as that, but I can't explain without spoiling it. But the only consequence I'm aware of for doing like predominantly ghost or samurai combat is if you do more ghost things, it's more cloudy in the world. That's a thing, apparently.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah. I've heard the weather changes based on how you play it. I saw the headline, but I didn't actually look in. Oh, okay, so that's based on how you... Okay,
yeah, but it just got kind of annoying because it's just like thunderstorms constantly. And you have... so you have a little flute that you can play tunes on, and that can change the weather. So it just meant like every 10 minutes, I was like, right, play the flute, get these fucking clouds gone.
Imagine that though. You're like walking around. There's like lightning. It's like that's because you're an arsehole.
Yeah.
It's like just
exactly.
Just a reminder.
But yeah. Overall, no, I didn't end up really enjoying it. I won't as I say, It's not a game that's going to stick with me. I'm not thinking like, oh man, and what if they did a sequel? Here's what they could do with it, and I wonder what's going to happen to these characters. I don't care. But I did really thoroughly enjoy it for what it was.
See, also, at the end of Act 1 and then getting into Act 2, I mean, obviously I don't want to go into the story, but it did do some things that I was not expecting, actually.
Yeah, absolutely.
And also, in some interesting ways. Like, it does, in terms of, class systems that exist and, like, what that means for the people during an invasion. I thought that's very interesting. It was pretty well executed. But I mean, I'm still playing it, but it does feel a bit daunting, like how much content there is there, and which is a weird thing to complain about, but it just does.
It's so dense, though, isn't it? It feels like every time you go back to a town, there's like another 2 people with a little speech bubble saying, "Oh, come talk to me. I've got another side quest." It's, oh man, and they. Are the side quests varied enough? I mean, not really, but it's just that the combat's so enjoyable that you often don't mind.
Well, it's the combat, and then also things like having to scale like a mountain. I never get bored of that.
Yeah.
Like I enjoy doing that every time because that's one of the other things this has. It has like these temples at various points on the map, and each of them is basically a sort of like a little puzzle. Like how do you get to the top here? And I always enjoy that. It's
the
always
best
good.
type of climbing in those games. Where you stare up at something and go, how the fuck do I get out there?
Because they're
that's the crackdown thing, isn't it?
Yeah. And they're always
how the fuck?
They're always really nicely done in that you'll, like James says, you'll arrive at like the path to one of these shrines and then just be like, oh, this like one bit of bridge is fucked. And then that necessitates like 10 minutes of fucking around, climbing around, jumping and stuff just to like figure out an alternative route. But it's good because you're just like, oh yeah, that's probably why they built the bridge initially.
And you also get like the amazing view when you get to the top. I mean, this is incredible looking game.
Yeah,
like it really is.
Just to reiterate, obviously I mentioned this last time. Yeah, the world never stops being impressive because it's this this extra step from photorealism, and it's not just photorealistic. It is dreamlike a lot of the time, isn't it, James?
Yeah.
It's just like,
especially the lighting.
Yeah,
like they just shift the lighting, and it's just like wow.
Yeah, it really is stunning. And yeah, like, you know, and I took a load of photographs in it and everything, and had a really nice time doing that as well. I mean, you know, like
so
if
people have been getting into the photo mode in that, haven't they?
Yeah, they really have.
Yeah.
And fair play, because as I said last time, although it's relatively limited in terms of things you could do with a camera. Like it's all the weird extra stuff you control, like wind speed and weather and you know where the sun is, and you can just make a shitload of birds fly into the scene for no particular stuff like that. That you have control over. It's nice. It's you know, not the game I would end a generation on. No. And I still rate Spider-Man over it. Like, I'm still looking at that Spider-Man DLC in the sale and thinking, I could fucking go back to that. Whereas, you know, any Ghost of Tsushima deal, I mean, this is absolutely getting traded in next week.
I can't imagine how they do DLC for this. Imagine more content. It's just no, thank you. It's what we got is fine.
Yeah. It really doesn't need any extra stuff, does it?
James, how, I mean, maybe this isn't fair, but how would you say this does compare to like a Days Gone?
That's what I mean. Yeah, I was asked that on Twitter the other day, and it's really, I'm not sure. I mean, I'd probably say Days Gone I enjoyed the story of more, I'd say. After 15 hours or whatever, I started to click with that. I thought it was really good. This, I'm not so far. But the world in this is so much more interesting, I think, than in Days Gone. And the side missions, all that kind of stuff is a lot more interesting. It's difficult.
It reminds me a lot, I mean, and to a lot of people, this would be sacrilege. It reminds me a lot of the Mad Max game we got a few years ago, which I absolutely loved. Like, again, you know, thematically, story-wise, whatever, not a huge amount to it, but just a very fucking Moorish open world game. And Tsushima reminds me a lot of that.
I'll tell you one of the other things that's weird about it, though, is how fast all the loading and everything is on it.
God, yeah. Really impressive.
Yeah, it's like you start the game up and you're in it like really quickly.
Which, considering the size and beauty of the world, is mental.
There you go. We don't need those fucking SSDs.
I know, mate. Yeah, fuck 'em.
Fuck you. Don't need them. Fuck off.
Yeah, really impressive. And do you know what? Like, I was slagging off the wind stuff. I do still think those sort of white trails that appear in the air are still a bit heavy-handed. But after a while, it does sort of click that it's like, this game doesn't need a mini map. Holy shit! Like, the hours I spent in like The Witcher 3, just navigating, just looking at the map in the corner and barely actually looking at the world. Whereas this is like, no, just look at the fucking world in front of you. It's good.
There's one thing with the combat though that I didn't like so much that I'm beginning to find more and more irritating is the archers.
Yeah.
You know how they always, because the archers shout before they're going to shoot at you.
Yeah.
That gets quite annoying.
I mean,
like,
it does.
After a while,
it's necessary, though, isn't it? What bothers me is that it's like, oh yeah, they'll always shout before they shoot to make sure that any friendlies know to duck first. And it's like, but what if it's just me and an archer, and they're still calling the shots? Why? Like, it just
because you never know.
You never know. Yeah.
All right, let's.
It's a good game.
Is that all you got for us, James?
No, I've also got. I mean, Paper Mario as well. I've played. I played more of that.
Oh, now, yeah, you've been getting a lot of feedback on your views on Paper Mario, haven't you?
Yeah, it's weird because I've played it since like we talked about it a few weeks ago, and there's some things about it that I would agree that probably I was not right about to begin with. I still intensely dislike the battle system, though. It's really boring. I think it's a terrible battle system. I still think it's really boring.
It sounds like it's really Marmite. There's a lot of people that really do like that battle system.
Yeah, I hate it. I think it's really boring.
That's important to know, isn't it? It's just the way that you've received that. It's like I saw a lot of people defending the battle system to you, and I listened to a lot of podcasts, and they were raving about it. And I think you've got to see the other side of it as well.
I just don't like it.
There's a lot of people that fucking find it tedious.
Yeah. I mean, but also, I mean, the other thing is that now, like, all the tutorial stuff is over and there's more sort of freedom to explore. I've started to enjoy it a lot more, and there are some really like lovely moments in it as well, like in terms of like story and in terms of scripting in particular. I mean, there's one part that is really, it's so well written that I ended up feeling quite emotional, which you wouldn't normally say about although I don't know, Thousand Year Door, there was bits in that as well, but this one in particular, there's one part in particular which is pretty emotional, and the story has just continued to improve as it's gone on, which has been great, and the dialogue is still excellent, and it's been good enough that I'm still pushing through the shitty battle system because it's worth it, because the places that you're visiting, the stories that are being told are worth it, for that. It's it's a good game. I'm enjoying it much more than I was when I first played it, but yeah, that battle system, boring. It's not good.
Cool.
Sorry.
Well, hopefully they get some of the defenders off your back. I mean,
No.
I don't think it will. But I think,
the boss battles are more interesting. They're not so bad, but the standard regular ones are. I mean, I heard somebody like defending it the other day, and then they kept on saying, "Oh, but you can avoid them as well if you want to. They've made it really easy to avoid." And it's like, well, to me that indicates that's because they're boring. It's like if they're not good and you can avoid them, then that's probably why. But
why are they even in there if part of the game is to avoid them? That's a bit weird. Okay. Well, I mean, I'm out of games now because I've already spoken about Halo and Carrion. That's me done for the week. Sean?
I mean, I didn't put this in the doc. It was Pokemon Go Fest last weekend, but obviously...
Oh, man, I just instantly think of that one that completely went wrong.
Well...
The first Pokemon Go
This
Fest.
is the thing. This one wasn't exactly smooth sailing either.
Oh, really? I heard nothing but good things about this.
Well, right. So, obviously, people can't congregate. Normally, this is an event where thousands of people buy tickets and you go to a physical event. There was supposed to be one in Liverpool in the UK this year, and I'd sort of thought it might be cool
Boston
to go.
in America, wasn't it? It was in Boston. That's what I'd heard. Sorry.
He's saying Boston.
Okay, sorry.
Yep. That's how they say it, isn't it? That's what the American TV shows have taught me.
All the documentaries. So obviously they couldn't do that. So this year you bought a virtual ticket, which basically just like enabled sort of like extra quests and objectives to tick off, right? Which then earned you extra stuff. And basically, so on the Saturday, the servers absolutely shat it for a good couple of hours. And it was like, this hour, do a quest where you've got to send gifts to all your mates. And it's like, I fucking can't. You've turned off the friends lists. Can't do anything. This is bollocks. So that there were some frustrations. And it was like, by the end of day one, it was like, I haven't really, like, I've had like some fun playing it, but in terms of like Pokemon I've caught and stuff, it's pretty much been business as usual, right? So that was quite disappointing. But then day two, it was like, Team Rocket have taken over everything, and it was all about the sort of PvE battles against Team Rocket people. And yeah, that was pretty good fun, and I came out of it with shitloads of rare Pokemon, and it was all right. In hindsight, should I have paid £15 for the privilege? Probably not. But then, like, I was talking to a friend of the show, Cammy Toman, about it, and I was like, to be fair, if things are relatively back to normal this time next year, like, it'd be cool if I just went up to see him and we just had a day wandering around a city and playing that. That would be pretty good. But yeah, like playing it basically on my own, not so much. See you next year, guys.
Yeah. Shame, yeah. But still an improvement over their first one.
Yeah, and obviously they had to do something to make it work, and I think they probably did the best they could, if apart from the servers shitting the bed. But I think it still sort of needed you to group up with people you knew playing it. I mean, like, I saw other people in public who were obviously playing it, but I'm not at that point where I can just walk over and be like, hey, you guys playing Pokemon? So yeah,
cool.
That's that.
All right,
that's it.
That's what we've been playing this week. Let's get on to emails.
Not emails, Dave. Keep telling you this.
Let's get on to
feedback
the website
received via the Google feedback sheet.
Well, we can't call it feedback.
We can call it.
So,
oh yeah, of course, yeah.
If you're pulling me up on emails, I'm pulling you up on feedback.
No, that's absolutely right. It's questions. They're just questions.
Q&A.
So we don't always answer half of them.
Maybe we finally do a jingle on this show, and it's just da 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 Q&A.
If you want to contact us, head to tcgs.co/Dear TCGS, or just use the old one that you find when you go on the website. Doesn't really matter. Sorry, Matt. Lee Griggs says, if you could be a guest on someone else's podcast, gaming related or not, whose would it be?
Oh, God. So Gary Dutton sent me a text a couple of weeks ago, and it was a podcast. I can't remember the name of it. And the idea behind it was you pick your favourite episode of your favourite TV show and you do a deep dive into it.
Okay.
And the episode he recommended to me was The Office one. And sorry, Gary, if this is your... I was really disappointed. Not because... I really liked it because they were going into the office in a really good way. And that excited me. But it wasn't what it said on the tin. They didn't do a deep dive into that one specific episode they were talking about, which was a shame. It was just a general discussion about The Office, right? And when I was on listening, I was thinking, oh my God, I would love to be on this. And I'll tell you what I'd do. I'd do the episode of The Simpsons where Milhouse's mum and dad break up, because it is one of the best, if not the best episode of The Simpsons ever. It is full of some of the funniest jokes that I've seen in and I mean, you know, people roll their eyes at The Simpsons now or whatever, and in some cases rightly so, but my word, that episode is just genius. Like, from start to finish, it's so good. You've seen that one, right? Milhouse's mum and dad break up.
There's a
scene in it.
Yeah, definitely, it's brilliant.
There's a scene in it where Homer, and what's so perfect about it is that Homer is supposed to be like the supportive friend of the guy, but he's not malicious. Homer's never malicious. He's just so stupid. So, like, Milhouse's dad is showing him around his new shitty apartment that he has to live in, and he opens up his bedroom door and he goes, and there's like one of those car beds. It's a single bed, but it's like in the shape of a racing car, and he goes, I sleep in a racing car, Homer. Do you sleep in a racing car? And he just answers honestly, and he goes, no, I sleep in a big bed with my wife. It's just like so blunt.
Is that also where it turns out that, like, Milhouse's dad has been like writing music or whatever?
Yeah. Can I borrow a feeling? And it has your picture on the front.
Laughing at him. Yeah.
Just, it's one of the best. I'll find out the name of that podcast because I feel bad for not crediting it. But yeah, I think that one at this point in time, I'd love to be on that. But you know me, I'll go on anything. I've been on every Rule of 3. It's called Rule of, and that's the number 3. That's the podcast that Gary you are. Thanks for recommending. Sorry I didn't fall in love with it,
sorry,
Gary.
I hated it, but thanks. Thanks for wasting my time,
I didn't
Gary.
hate it. It was just I didn't hate it because I genuinely enjoyed the people on that podcast talking about The Office the way they did, you know.
Yeah.
But it was just like I was really interested to see how they dissected one episode, and they just didn't in that particular episode. I haven't listened to the others. Maybe I'll check it out. But
no, fair enough.
Yeah. But and you know me, I'll guest on anything. Love it.
I'd love to do a bit for. I mentioned it before. The KCRW Good Food Show. It's an American radio station. They do a show / podcast about food, and I just love an excuse to like just interview people from around here who I know do really good food, because there's no, far as I'm aware, there's no out. I mean, maybe I'll start my own show, guys. Maybe we can add that to the network.
Yes. No, seriously, yes.
No, Matt. No one's got time.
Sean said he has time.
No, I've got time.
I've got
the inclination, just not the time.
It doesn't have to be weekly.
That's true. Just do like one a year.
I've got to say, the amount of ideas we chuck about that I really get excited for, but we just know there's no way we're going to be able to do it.
Yeah.
Oh, I'd love to do more. It doesn't have to be weekly shows. It could be like every now and then. You know. Interface.
I don't know. Go on, Sean.
But no, it would just be cool. They did one the other week where they talked to two of the people behind Tsushima, Dave, which I think you were a fan of when we went.
Yeah, it was nice.
It's great.
Yeah.
And it's just really
it's
fascinating.
It's funny because I've been to Tsushima is a one of those Brazilian barbecue places where they just come.
Nope.
Oh, is it not? Oh, that's the curry place.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of the best curries I've ever had. I mean, ridiculously overpriced, but kind of worth it.
Yeah.
Because it was it's food that they had food there that I would never even consider eating. But because it was on the table, I tried a piece and I was like, my word, this is Tsushima. Yeah, sorry, I'm getting them mixed up. Tsushima is unbelievably good.
Yeah.
But yeah, when it like 60 quid a pop, and we didn't we only had.
It wasn't that much, was it?
I think it was
because we had like a set menu because it was a massive group.
Yeah,
as well,
that's what made it even worse because we were like, and did I tell that story or is that unfair?
Which one? The guy serving me an alcoholic drink?
Yeah.
And you absolutely shitting.
I'd had a couple of drinks and I was mucking about, and I didn't realise the implications they had on the man's job.
I mean,
and I was
okay. Well, fuck it. Look, let's tell the story. So. I was handed. We were all handed like the same drinks menu, and I think like basically the menu sort of said it was like, oh, here's the cocktails and mocktails list.
Yeah.
But there appeared to be no distinction.
Alcohol-free cocktails.
Yeah, there appeared to be no distinction between the two. And so I said to the waiter, I said, oh, which of these are the mocktails? Because I don't drink. And he sort of said, oh, we can do any of them as a mocktail. And I was like, oh, right, okay. So I chose one. And then, then he came back with the drinks, and I could smell it. I didn't even need to taste it. I was like, oh, this has definitely got booze in it. And it was a different waiter who brought them out, wasn't it? And I straight away, I just went, sorry, mate, is there alcohol in this? And he was like, yeah, like absolutely loads of it.
No, he said no. And you went, all right, okay. And then when he went away, you passed it to me and went, Dave, is there alcohol in it? And I smelled it. I went, yes. Sweet
right.
alcohol.
And then we collared the other guy, didn't we? And I said, "Is this got alcohol?" And he said, "Yeah, like loads of it. Why?" And I said, "Well, loads of it." And I
it's
said,
pure alcohol.
Yeah, and I said, "Yeah, sorry, I asked for a non-alcoholic one." And Dave
all I said was, "Fucking hell, that was 20 years hard work, almost gone," like that, right? And then we saw the panic going on around us when I said that, and I did feel bad about it, but at the same time, don't give an alcoholic drink to someone that's not asked for alcohol.
Well,
you know
exactly,
what I mean?
yeah. So the guy who took the order definitely got a bollocking, didn't he? Bless him.
So that's Tsushima.
Tsushima, really good restaurant. So they talk about like the origins of it and stuff because it's based on these what they call the Irani cafes in Bombay and how they were sort of seen as this. Because there was Bombay was this sort of big melting pot of all different cultures, but they never ate together unless it was in these Irani cafes. Because when Iranians came over to Bombay, they were seen as the outsiders, and they kind of went, right, we need to appeal to everyone, and they created the only eating spaces that everyone went in, and it was all and it all just gets into like the cultural relevance of that stuff, and it's like, fuck, I'd love to have like conversations like that, but with people who own and operate restaurants or just stalls or whatever here. So I'd do that.
Pop into
Get
McDonald's.
it done, Sean.
Yeah, pop into McDonald's.
Yeah.
Just ask him.
Unfortunately, I can already bore you with the story of how McDonald's came about, but I won't.
Save it for the podcast.
I will.
Save it for episode 1.
Episode 0, baby.
I'm not subscribing to that, James.
I don't know. I really
Being
don't know.
interviewed by Jeff Green would be good in his new one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd
Right,
listen to that.
Yeah.
That'd be good.
Okay.
But okay.
Is that any good?
Is that
'Cause
podcast?
I've listened to some of that. Yeah.
Yeah, there's so it's called Branching Narratives, and the best episode of that is the one that he did with Gary Whitta. Really, really good. Yeah, really good. Just a really good chat. So yeah, that was good. But the last one you should listen to, James, because it's Jeff Green being interviewed, and he just goes into stuff that happened at the magazines that he's worked at and everything. But if you don't know, Jeff Green he's a bit of a legend to us. He started podcasting around the same time as I did. But he worked, obviously on a bigger show. He was at Games for Windows, and was it EGM? Is that the name of the big magazine?
No, he was on. What was it? So it was Games for Windows, but before that, it was like it was a PC like mag, wasn't it, that he was on?
Yeah,
and then it became Games for Windows. And then he was on that,
he worked for Ziff Davis, and he was part of the One Up Games for Windows, that sort of scene. So we loved him like forever. And he's got one of the best Dark Souls streams of all time. Like, if you go and watch that on YouTube, it's phenomenal. Because it is literally just an old man playing Dark Souls. The best is when he finally completes it, he bursts into tears because, he never thought he'd be able to complete this game. He finally does it. He bursts into tears, and as he's saying thank you to the people watching, his wife comes in the back and just goes come on, you got to come down for dinner or something. And so just goes, yeah, okay. It's just so good. But yeah, I'd like to hear you on that. Matt, you must have a list of these, right?
It'd probably be like the Totally Football Show, because James Richardson is just an absolute hero, and he's been a legend for since I started watching, Galazio on Sunday mornings, watching Italian football. So yeah, like that, and all the people like Michael Cox and all the other people on the Totally Football sort of network are brilliant. So it'd probably be that, really.
Gossip Monk is another one that's up there. Just not to be on it, but to sit in the room and watch it must be just 3 people laughing continuously is enough for me to be on board with that. I'd love that.
And yeah, if it's still going, then any of the Russell Brown podcasts would be the one.
It's definitely not still going. Such a shame. That was so good back in the day, man.
Yeah. And that's it, probably, yeah.
All right, okay. Next question.
Maria Mendieta says, Dear Sega Dude, Sega's biggest fan, Nindy correspondent, and the console warrior. I don't actually know who's who there.
That's
I'm Sega Dude.
So are you Sega Dude? Obviously, Matt is Sega's biggest fan. I guess I'm right. So I'm Nindy correspondent, and James is the console warrior.
Yeah.
It says, following your investigation into the extent of Matt's Sega fandom, I was left wondering about loyalty to video game companies. Other than nostalgia, what triggers this type of allegiance? Could the Dreamcast rabid fanbase stem from the hours players might have spent confiding in Seaman via the microphone? Or could James's love of Sony arise from an attempt to justify initially purchasing the PS4 for No Man's Sky?
God, I didn't think anyone would remember that. But yeah, that is why I bought it. Yeah.
I know exactly where it comes from.
Yeah.
You spend money on something, you want it to be the best thing that you can possibly buy.
Yeah, you don't want to feel like you wasted your money.
You want it to be good.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. That's where
it's not about money, because
yes, it does.
Well, for Sega, it's about sharing all those amazing memories. I remember all of us playing Sega games.
Those memories that you never had and made up.
All of us playing Sega games together on Saturn. That wasn't about
didn't happen,
the investment.
Matt.
That's
didn't happen. None of this. I'm convinced now that none of this happened. You never had a. Let's go, but show me the receipts. Is what I'm saying.
What video footage?
Yeah,
you never had
go back to Debenhams.
I mean, obviously, obviously, marketing comes into it quite a lot. Like, obviously, like Nintendo, especially, people feel like they really identify with Nintendo's whole sort of ethos. I know I'm guilty of that from time to time.
But part of that is like about growing up with it as well, isn't it?
Yeah,
Particularly
absolutely.
things like Sega and let's say Nintendo,
I think it's easy to switch. I do think it is easy to change size.
I was
pure Sega. I was pure Sega growing up, and then I was the Sega dude, Matt, if you remember correctly.
Of course.
But then the N64 come out, and I was like,
It depends on what's got games on that you want to play. That's how this happens. It's like if you enjoy experiences you've had on a machine.
No, it's not.
I think
you enjoy experience on a machine, fine. But you never get, that doesn't explain why you get into console wars.
I mean, obviously, the short answer is that, we don't, because we're cool and we're,
Some of us don't.
Some of us are above this sort of thing.
3 of us don't.
But but normal people still get well into it.
I've got to... Yeah.
Go on, James. Go on, come up with your comeback.
It's all right. No, I've seen the light. It's Game Pass is the best thing ever, and I just if it's not on Game Pass, I'm not interested.
James, no one needs to own anything anymore. It doesn't matter.
Exactly. Yeah, nothing matters anymore. It's fine. It's just
literally none of us have said that. That's what makes it so bizarre.
Oh, shut up.
That's what you hear, but that's not what we say.
Shut up, David. Come on, just get on with it.
Good. That's my favourite comeback of yours, actually. Blunt and to the point. Yeah, but you get it in everything, don't you? Right? You get it in TVs that you buy. People argue about I got a Sony. Well, I got that, and mobile phones. Fucking Android versus Apple. Who gives a fuck?
I do feel
Windows
like
versus
that's calmed
Mac.
down.
Who cares?
Quite a lot now.
No way.
Okay.
No, you right? Maybe it's calmed down. Like, this is probably my Apple side coming out, or my iPhone side coming out. Maybe it's calmed down with Apple, iPhone users slagging off Android.
Yeah.
But whenever a new iPhone gets announced, it is floods of just like,
Just
fuck
Android
Apple.
had all this 5 years ago, mate.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, fine.
I'm not going to spend £1,200 on a phone.
Yeah.
How much on your Samsung? Oh, yeah. It is.
I mean, to be fair, every time you guys mention how much fucking AirPods are, all the air leaves my lungs. That stuff baffles me, but whatever.
Yeah.
But then as I say, I've got an iPad and I'm looking at cases for it, and I'm just like, why is every single non-Apple one shit in comparison to the Apple ones?
That is the mind-blowing thing. It's the same with chargers and stuff.
Yeah.
Why is it £15 for a fucking Apple charger?
Yeah.
And then you get a £2-3 one from Amazon. And you're like, oh, because these are shit. And they barely work.
Yeah.
Fucking nightmare, man.
Right, Chris Bush says, I emailed you a while ago to ask for your advice about Dark Souls. I've now completed it and absolutely loved it. But what made it even more enjoyable was listening to Dark Calls as I went through the game. What a great podcast.
Nice. Thank you.
I was relieved to hear that I wasn't the only person who let their kids, mine are 4 and 7, watch the game as I played it. I've even started a second playthrough as they still enjoy watching me play the game. They mostly just enjoy taunting me when I die, to be completely honest, and they like to reenact Daddy versus the Capra Demon. I've turned the blood off, but even so, do you think this is irresponsible parenting? My argument to my wife is that it teaches them the value of persistence in the face of repeated failure. I mean, what he's not said there, but clearly what has happened is his wife has gone like, what the fuck are you doing, man? Why are you showing our kids this game?
Yeah.
I don't
it's
know
a bit
if
scary. If they're not scared, I think you're fine.
Yeah, I mean, 4 and I would have thought 4 would be too young, but I mean, depends on the kids. Like, say if they're not bothered, but then maybe the argument is that they've already been desensitized.
There's a lot of stabbing in it.
There is a lot of stabbing. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what Isaac's going to be like, because occasionally we get caught off guard by stuff that freaks him out. We were watching, I think I might mention this, we were watching What We Do in the Shadows, which just completely goes over his head, right? He was just in the room while it was on, and he wasn't even paying attention. And then there was a bit where a vampire got staked and turned to dust, and he fucking lost it. And we were just like, oh shit, like that. So but even in the context of the show, it's not even.
That's really funny. You should mention that, because there's a moment when you can watch anything on TV, and then all of a sudden you realise they've reacted to something, and it's like, whoa, okay,
because
I think with
there was a point I sat and watched all of John Wick 2 with Isaac at one point. He just didn't give a shit. He just
exactly. But no, I think with Harry, I can't remember if it was like a Lego movie or something. but one of the characters was saying goodbye to the rest of them.
Yeah.
And he started crying. And I went, oh, that's weird. You've had an emotional reaction to it. That's never happened before. That's a really noticeable moment in your life that's just happened there. That's really weird. But yeah, I mean, we just picked up on today. This isn't the same thing. I'm not comparing it to that moment, that emotional moment. Charlie doesn't like slow motion. Like, he freaks out.
What?
Which is a shame, because I was going to sit in front of Max Payne.
Yeah.
Matrix. And now I can't do that. Yeah, it's such a shame. But yeah, no, he freaks out
Matrix.
about slow motion on telly.
No way.
I don't know if it's the visual thing or if it's the... Actually, I'm pretty sure it is the sound, because he's also scared of the pilot in Animal Crossing. Because he's got a really low that sort of voice, and he doesn't like that either. So it's weird, isn't it? I suppose if they're not scared of it, I think that's the main thing with those games. The enemies in it are horrific looking.
Yeah. I don't know. Matt or James, what do you reckon?
I don't know. I mean, I don't play stuff like that in front of the kids. See, mine are older now anyway. Yeah. Like Rachel's 10. Say again?
Yeah, Ash's 10, we think.
He's 7, she's 10. And yeah, I don't know really. I don't. I mean, things like Go to Tsushima and stuff like that. I wouldn't play that in front of them. I don't think, because it's quite graphic, as it goes. But yeah, I don't know.
See, because
I just had a fall.
Because I could get away with Spider-Man, but Ghost not so much. Because of stabbing and blood and people going.
Do their heads come off in that?
They do.
Yeah, no, definitely not then.
Yeah.
I played Halo in front of Harry today.
Oh, yeah.
Multiplayer.
Uh-huh.
And I felt a bit weird about that.
No, I think that's not too bad, because it's.
No, I know,
but
it's still shooting.
Yeah, it's still killing people.
This is it, isn't it? It's to what extent, even if it's not real guns, or you're not, or you're shooting aliens, is there still an element of desensitization or normalization of shooting stuff? Like, I know people who, like, until their kids reach a certain age, they try and avoid any like gun or sword toys, and I sort of get that.
Yeah, we've been avoiding that. Yeah. But then Star Wars come into the house. Cheers, James. Fuck.
Yeah, we never really had any guns, I don't think, or anything like that. But that really wasn't like a sort of a conscious, like, we're not allowing it. It just never really
didn't happen.
Yeah, I guess.
Well, there must be a point though, because they're everywhere. Gun toys.
I was going to say,
toy guns.
News parents fucking buy Isaac like loads of like massive water guns and stuff.
Water guns, Nerf guns, all that shit.
See, Asher wasn't allowed Nerf guns because of Rachel. She was like, "There's no way he's having those because he'll just shoot me
constantly throughout the day."
Right.
Yeah. When I was playing Last of Us and Elodie would come upstairs, I would pause it and not let her look at it. And when I was been playing Carrion last week, she came in and did ask me what I was doing. As the monster. I mean, Animal Crossing has definitely helped to become more interested in games. I'm actually looking for like another game we can play on after
Kirby.
that. Actually,
Kirby's a good shout.
Kirby
we do want to get another one. I mean, Animal Crossing just feels so perfect in so many ways. But I mean, we were playing this game the other day on I think it's Game Pass, called like Cluster Truck where you're basically like, there's loads of these trucks bombing to an exit, and you have to jump from roof to roof to get to the exit and remain alive. But there's loads of like weird physics and stuff. You're playing that together, and she actually finished the level. I was really impressed.
Amazing, because I think there's a demo. Not an easy
there's
game.
A demo.
No, it's really difficult. Actually, I think I'm on the second or third like set of levels. Yeah, it's good fun that thing.
I think there's a demo of Kirby Star Allies. Download that,
I'll do it,
and see what she thinks of it, because I hated it. Harry still plays it. Like, he loves it so much.
Isaac was forcing me to play fucking, what was the 3D racing game on the SNES? The Stunt Race FX. Have I made that up? Yeah,
no, Stunt Race FX.
Fucking awful.
The one with the little eyes as headlights.
Yeah,
it's a mess.
Garbage. I always used to want to play it as a kid, and it's just terrible. But no, he kept insisting he wanted to put it on, and then bad.
Get this.
Yeah.
So Charlie is what, 20 months old?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. He played Super Mario Odyssey for the first time yesterday. he's been obsessed with Mario because everything's Mario, and the Lego Mario come in, and every time, like for the past 4 or 5 months, every time he sees Mario, he goes wahoo wahoo like that. So I just went, Mario Odyssey, man, I'm going to put it on the Sand Kingdom because there's loads of space.
Yeah.
And I just put the control in front of him. He was sort of like looking at it, and he was looking at the screen, and he pressed the button, and Mario jumped. And I've never seen him grin that much. Like, he was just like, and it just made me think, oh yeah, games are fucking cool, aren't they? Like, they are inherently fun. You press a button and something happens on the screen. Let's boil it down to that, because that's what it's all about. Yeah, it was good, man.
Yeah.
It was well good. And then he cried for about half an hour when I turned it off. But there you go. Swings
it's always the way, isn't it? Oh, good,
life.
they've found a thing they love. Oh, and now they're going to kill me when they take it away. Yeah.
Brilliant. Oh, look at this, Harry. The floor is lava. This looks like fun to watch. Oh, now you've wrecked everything in the house jumping from things. Brilliant. That's fucking nightmare, that show.
Yeah. Right, last one. It's a quick one. Richard says, in last week's show, Sean declared that the always white default custom video game character is never quite white enough. What's the most accidentally conservative thing you've ever implied? That makes you sound
really bad, Sean. Sean, that really makes you sound bad. You might want to clarify.
Yeah, so to clarify, I forget that not everyone knows everything about me and my life. I have vitiligo, which means that my immune system thinks that the pigment in my skin is a disease that needs to be killed, which means I am unnaturally white. And that...
just said, last week, Sean said that the default white characters weren't white enough.
Yeah. No, the joke is that I am just a little bit whiter than even the standard white default video game character, due to a medical condition. So there you go. I'm not saying that as like a gotcha. It's just I forget that people don't know that.
Someone once tried to write down some notes on Sean, is what he's saying, when he was sunbathing. It looks like a sheet of paper, is what I was going for.
When I did music tech in college, we did the sound tech for the college production of Jesus Christ Superstar, and one of the guys who was doing the lighting told me that I would have to cover my arms up because they were so white that like they were distracting to the audience because I was sat off to one side.
Oh no, we've lost the white balance board. Just use Sean.
Hey! Yeah.
Right, so sorry, no, what was the original question?
Sorry, yeah. So James, Matt, Dave, what's the most accidentally conservative thing you've ever implied?
I don't know, there's got to be loads of things, isn't there? I just can't think of anything off the top of my head.
Most conservative things. Didn't I? I hated a certain race in Mass Effect.
Oh God, which one?
Oh, I suppose you got really funny with me saying that you shouldn't be shagging other aliens.
No, I got annoyed with you because I said that I was my character was with the Asari, and you were like, why? And you were getting annoyed about it, and I was like, what's the problem with that?
And I was like, well, they're different, like they're aliens.
So. It's made very clear that the compatibilities exist.
Yeah. So then what's the problem?
I don't know about that.
Okay.
What are the things, like, the hair's weird, isn't it?
I mean, Dave, some people romance Garrus, so...
Oh, yeah, Blake liked Gareth. Sorry.
And I mean, just from a physical point, I don't know how that works.
I don't know.
But even so,
there
no
was
judgment
something about him.
You know?
Exactly.
There was something about him. He was smooth.
He was a cool guy. Good mate.
He was a cool guy. Yeah, no, I didn't. I'm a bit funny about that for some reason.
I romance Tally because she's cool as hell. Let's move on. That's it. That's the end of the questions.
We've had a great show this week.
I have.
And I'm really interested to find out what is going on in the world of the TCGS. Matt Murray, let's hear it.
Yeah, we've got some streams, I think. Friday, James, you weren't around on last Friday.
No.
Obviously, it's very late in the day that was announced. But what are your plans this Friday?
I don't know. I haven't thought about it yet.
Okay, no stream on Friday. On Sunday, I am streaming Hitmap. I think this might be my last Hitmap stream for a while. So I've got one level left in the original Hitman game, and I might actually do one after where I'll go for a couple of other ones I enjoyed. After that, I'm going to take a break, and then we'll come back to Hitman 2 after another couple of games. I think it's probably a good time to have a bit of a break and get excited for the Hitman 2 levels later on. So yeah, that's Hitman Sunday at 8, and then Tuesday at 9 it's Sean Play by the Bell. If you want to, you can watch them live. Just go to twitch.tv/TCGSco or search for TCGSco in the app.
I would like to say before we move off streams, I'm planning to do a few streams this week. Ooh. So there might be a stream on Friday.
Blimey.
I don't know when. I don't know how. I don't know why. But tomorrow Fall Guys comes out
yes.
as we're recording. So it came out yesterday if you're listening on the Wednesday that the show comes out. I've been excited about that game for a long time. And so I'm going to try and stream some of that throughout the week. It's
I'm watching streams of it. It looks fun.
It looks a hell of a lot of fun.
Are we still doing I know it's too late for anyone listening to this. Are we still doing a multiplayer stream of that on the Tuesday night?
We can do. I'm still not convinced it'll work. It's weird because you only see one, but whatever.
Well, no, but you don't. That's the thing. So when the person who's playing gets knocked out, they can spectate the others.
I know, but if you stay on, I don't know. Whatever. Let's see. We'll give it a go, won't we?
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah.
Why not? But there will be Full Guys streams going on this week on Twitch.
Yeah. So and it will be all over the place. So, but best thing to do is follow us on Twitch and then hit that bell so you get notified when the stream goes live. If you miss them live, you can watch them again on our YouTube channel. Just search for TCGS on YouTube or in the app, and you'll find all the videos of our previous streams. We're on, if you've got Amazon Prime, you've got Twitch Prime. We're on Patreon, patreon.com/TCGS. The bonus show went out last week. So that was another good one. And there's plenty of tiers with different sort of benefits and stuff you can support. So yeah, that's patreon.com/TCGS, and it's tcgs.co, which is the website for everything else, including the store and contact forms and that.
We will catch you next week. We hope you're doing all right. We're thinking of you all, and
not all of you. I haven't got enough brain power.
I just spend
I've got the brain power.
Once a week. I'll just have a 10-minute session where I just think about every single listener.
That's right. Don't you do that, Matt? What a scumbag.
Send out some good vibes. Usually when Patreon payday happens.
James, how much consideration do you give to our listeners?
Constant. Absolutely constant.
Yeah, it's sort of lowest form of wit, that. Thanks for living it. We'll catch you later, everybody. Goodbye.
It's all right.
Goodbye.
Bye.